What's up, chat? Uh-oh, I did it wrong. Alright, unmute.
Ride it out for experience.
Unmute.
Yeah.
And then eventually maybe switch over. Because I think I don't want to do oil and gas forever, I don't think. I really want to go into like entertainment, so like ESPN or tech, like Google and stuff like
That'd be
that.
cool.
Just to say that I work for those companies, you know what I mean? That'd be cool.
I know tech sales are booming now.
Mm-hmm.
I had a buddy who lives. Oh,
was good.
Yo.
I flipped the switch on y'all. Y'all were like in it. I was like, would it be rude to interrupt y'all with a live show?
We talking about life, careers, real world stuff.
Yeah. What's up? Happy Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. Boys, there are 13 games tonight. 13, 1-3. 26 teams to break down, to go through, to choose from, and find the best plays and win the most money. Speaking of winning money, man, Chronic, every day with the top fives, the top tens, man.
It's not every day, man. It's not every day.
It's every day, bro.
It seems like it.
Chronic DFS flow. I don't know.
Y'all got to see how it happens, though. Like I was telling Raj, like I missed lock by like 30 seconds trying to upload my CSV, and I had a bunch of dummies with Ben Simmons. So I tilt my way into playing the late slate, finished third in the tournament. So hey, whatever, right?
He played Ben Simmons.
and still had a winning night.
It was a dummy line.
It was a dummy line, that's for sure.
Still could have clicked out a name that's gonna play. I mean, Ben Simmons out of all people.
I just go through and click on just to reserve the tickets, man. You're right. I should have did it that way. Mistakes were made, but it worked out.
Back in the day, you would reserve contests with like the late game or whatever. Now you don't even have to put a lineup in. They just give you the tickets and just play. Hey, if you get stuck out, you get stuck out. So you could do that, but of course you would have lost out on like drum. If you didn't have the first game yesterday, you would have not won anything anyway.
And you can't reserve I don't think you could reserve in mass multi. You get what I'm saying? I think you have to do it like click contest by contest versus doing it like in a mass way. That's the reason why I make a dummy lineup.
Yeah, actually on DraftKings you might be right. On Fanduel you don't. On Fanduel you just
okay. Yeah, so DK's behind the times.
Speaking of Fanduel, man. One of these days, Alice, every night, man, I'm within 10 points or I'm one player off. Last night, I was 9 points away. You never saw someone sweat Nick Batum like I sweated Nick Batum in the final 2 minutes. And then Eric Bledsoe checked in, got random free throws. I was like, it's happening. And then it didn't happen. But yeah, good night yesterday. A great night once the late swap ability into the Kevin Huerters and the Cam Reddish, more so the Kevin Huerters was an option. That got me to a lot less Anthony Simons and some of the fringe value play, Luke Kennards, guys like that. That was going to be in the last game anyway. Oh my God. Anyway. But Raj, we haven't seen you in a couple days. How have you been? How are you? How's Canada?
Canada's great, just the usual. Living life, another day, another grind, and ready to take something down. So chasing the 100K, you know the vibes.
You know the drill. We are live on YouTube. Shout out to the chat. Giuliano. Chronic says he was first. He was not first. What a pocket quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Darn. Not sure if it was Korkmaz or Ben Simmons. Yo, Korkmaz shot a whole birth date, bro. 218.
Yeah, I was
like it was.
He was trucking. At least he was trucking. He just nothing.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I think he played 45 minutes last night.
Yeah, the right play all around.
You tell me a guy playing 45 minutes. I'm loading up. He was one of my top 4 highest owned players on the slate.
That's probably his worst shooting night of his life. He's never shot 2 for 18 in his life.
I mean, yeah, that's ridiculous. What else happened last night? That whole game was a little anomalic. I know a lot of people are barking at Doc Rivers. We got to play 10 guys tomorrow. And he only played 8, and he called a G Leaguer up. But then Seth Curry was out, so there was reasons for some of that happening. I guess 2 steps forward, 1 step back is what I said yesterday. But really, Korkmaz was the only way to get wrong from the 76ers, especially on FanDuel. Paul Reed had 5 stocks, 2 blocks, and 3 steals. So if you avoided Korkmaz and Danny Green from the 76er stack, you did just fine yesterday. The Atlanta and Utah game was what we thought it was. Utah is a tough home team to catch a team on a back-to-back, especially a depleted team. There wasn't much to like there. I think Kevin Huerter was about it. Capella got to 40. It was kind of irrelevant 40 because of what Drummond did, and then Nurkic outscored him. So just Kevin Huerter from that game was really, really a big piece here. And then the Blazers, Clippers, Damian Lillard still barely squeaking over 40 fantasy points on both sides. We'll see if that keeps his price somewhat where it's at. And the Clippers chimed in with some Reggie Jackson, Nick Batum, Eric Bledsoe. Those were 3 guys I did have a surprising chunk of. And it went pretty well. So hopefully you guys out there made some money. I definitely saw some fun screenshots on Twitter. Today is a whole new world, right? 3 games, staggered short slate to 13 games of chaos. Keep your head on a swivel. Not head on a stick. That would be weird. Unless you still have bodily control. I don't know. Pretend we didn't say that. What else we got here? What up, Lorenzo? What up, Josh Plays DFS? Should be a fun slate, yes, sir. What up, Mark A? Mia Moore in the chat. Aunt Maurice, full house today. We had to do a big chat. We should be doing numbers in the stream, right? 13 games. I brought out the guns. I got Raj, I got Chronic, I got me. We got 2 hours. Let's have some fun. Let's vibe out. Let's talk some DFS. And then if you guys are on Twitter, hit me with that young retweet. We get 100 likes. I'm sure we'll get over 120. We'll give away another week pass. Let's just have some fun on this hump day as we talk what should be a memorable slate, right? Crispy in the chat. Crispy says, Chronic and Raj, what is up? I think that's more of a question. I read it like Chronic and Raj, what is up? But I think it meant Chronic and Raj, what's up? Okay. Shout out to Crispy. Fish fan in the chat here. Rich Miller, Buddy Hield for the win. Let's go. Brandon McNair, Harrison Barnes, or Anthony Davis. I want a top 5 player in my line. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Harrison Barnes.
Stop it.
All day, every day. Over Anthony Davis.
Nick Batum was a late night sauce. Yes, sir. I played Reddish over Kevin. I had literal equal amounts of both. I capped them both at 35%. My initial late swap demise had 45% herder. Kind of wish I stuck with that one, but like I said, it was kind of irrelevant at the end of the night. I just needed an extra 9 points. Brody says Paul George missing those last couple of shots cost me 2K in a parlay. No. Ed Fernandez. What up, Ed? Josh Redfoot Raj is our favorite Canadian NBA DFS guy. Is the market that deep? Is there a lot of Canadian DFS guys?
I mean, hey man, we got a lot of Hey man, we got Drake, we got Bieber, we got The Weeknd. We took over music. Well, maybe we're taking over this industry too.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Mark says, dude, I played Anthony Simons and Cash, still did well. Could have swapped Herder. Yeah, it sucks. Let's go. Took second with 4 dudes on Fanduel last night for 19K. Let's go, Paul. I think my top line was dupe 3 times. You're gonna run into dupes on short slates, especially when
there'll be no dupes today. No dupes today. There'll be single winner all
should
around.
Be very unique.
Yeah.
What up, Stu? Big League Stu. Stu. I think Stu. I get notifications when people get memberships. I think Stu got himself another month today, and then I think somebody who won a week pass yesterday was like, "Yo, Gun, how do I go and sign up and stay extended?" So that kind of, maybe giving away these week passes, people realize what they're missing out on. So if you guys think that could be you, stay till the end. Make sure we get to the 100 thumbs up. And then, of course, the reason why I'm doing that is double edge sorted, I guess, in a way, because we're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by January 1. Yesterday, boys, by myself on a 3-game slate, we did 18 new subscribers. So I'm gonna need y'all to bring it. I'm gonna need y'all to
on
bring
a 3-gamer.
On a 3-gamer, I had 18 new subs.
Must have been a slow Tuesday.
Maybe. And we're starting this stream at 5519. All right, 5519. Remind me to look at that later and see if we get to 5540 with you two. I don't know, man. I don't know. Raj put away the yellow hoodie and brought out
the yellow hoodies. Yeah, today's tank top. It's beautiful out today. We had a little random summer day today. So.
And then Chronic was released by WWE the other day. Appreciate you coming on here, buddy. The over on Westbrook turnovers is still funny. Yo, I think John said it's back out there today. What up, William Lewis? He made it happen. Paul Solo for 100K, 3 points ahead. Oh, that's tough. Yeah, I think I was in there. What up, G Yali? Congrats. What was your process for getting to Herder more than Philly players on FanDuel? No, that wasn't the process for those guys. For me, I had just value lined up from the late game. Guys like Anthony Simons, I don't know who else I probably swapped out of, Norman Powell, somebody like that. I just utilized late swap. Like, I didn't have those guys in my lineups at 7 p.m. I had 0% herder at 7 p.m. But when the news comes out, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't react and take some shots there. And herder still got to 20%. Cam Reddish got to 8%. So it was just a matter of reacting to the news. It wasn't something that I was on pre-fob. Afterwards, when you told me Bogdanovich and DeAndre Hunter was out, yeah, I'll take some shot on some herder here for, maybe big minutes as a scorer. And then you think about how the Jazz as a team defensively line up. It's gonna be a little harder to score in the paint. So I'll take some shooters. As my boy Chronic called him, Red Mamba was out there balling.
Hey, I locked him in. I had 100%, man. So shout out to Kevin Herter. That's my boy.
Danny
Like that.
Villalobos. What up, Danny? Mark, hey, you guys, we can play a lot of phenomenal plays tonight. Save 3 roster slots for that Denver game later. A lot of value there. Also, the Ricky Rubio price point. Paul said I swapped to Herder off of Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard was definitely one of
Made
them.
money off that. Yeah.
Terrence Mann. Yep. Those are guys that started getting the action. I still had some of those guys, but obviously swapping to Herder was a way to get away from that. And again, it wasn't necessarily anything that I was big braining. It was just readjusting projections, re-uploading, swaptimize, get something that you didn't have before. And that's the biggest edge in NBA DFS. If you're a multi-entry player, is late swapping your lineups based on news, and then also reacting to plays that you already have or missed out on, and just trying to balance out your shot at first place, you know. What up, Darius? I don't know what to do on FanDuel today. I'm lost. Well, we're going to try and narrow it down here. Jeff B, what was up with Gallo? Was playing 18 minutes a night, then yesterday played like 6. That's tough. Yeah, I don't know. It got lopsided. Kind of expected to be an uphill battle. Anyway, let's get into the... I guess we'll do the first plug, and then we'll start talking about some games here. Chat, you guys know every stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS. We run DFS every day before lock. We're in the pre-lock voice chat for at least 2 hours. A lot of times well over lock. Talking plays, adjusting the news, just hanging out, sweating props and prize picks and stuff like that. If you guys are looking to grow as a DFS player, I say it all the time, get yourself into a community. Doesn't have to be mine, but mine's pretty good. Tried, what is it? Gambler tested, gambler approved. We've been out here for over half a decade just doing it. So we're doing something right. So if you haven't tried this yet, maybe try it. Get the Fantasy Cruncher credit depending on what pass you get. And then DM me on Discord if you have some questions. And yeah, that's the plug, right? We'll keep it cheap. We'll talk about it later. I will be giving away a week pass if we get to over 100 likes this stream. And then if you guys are on Twitter, hit my last tweet. I tweet out the stream. Hit it with a retweet. Hit it with a like. Even if you don't want to retweet it, hit it with a like. Help the engagement to help the numbers. Boys, we got 13 games. Looking at some of the news that is already out. First of all, the big one. Your boy, Nikola Jokic, suspended 1 game. He's out. That's going to open up some front court potential value. JaMychal Green, Jeff Green are names we've seen floated around in some of these optimal lineups. The news to watch, according to my boy Fan at _NBA. Brandon Ingram is questionable. Bam Adebayo is on track to play. He's a game time decision. We've seen that twice this season. One time he played, one time he didn't. This time he didn't was on night 2 of a back-to-back. AD is probable. Malcolm Brogdon is expected to play. Kevin Porter Jr. questionable, Mitchell Robinson questionable, and Tyrese Halliburton questionable. He missed that last game, opened up more minutes and opportunity for Buddy Hield. So stuff that we have to be cognitive of, and then we already know that Colin Sexton had that torn meniscus for the Cavs. So there's a couple more injuries that have already kind of set the table for some next man up opportunity and guys to overperform at their salary. Some guys have been corrected for their salary. Some guys have not. And I think Ricky Rubio is one of those guys that has not been corrected. One last look at chat before we dive into game number 1. Do you care about stacking, says Taylor Steiger? On a short slate, I will stack it. On a big slate, like I don't mind stacking if I love a game or if I love a team that's just too underpriced. But I don't want to say that that's a general rule of thumb. Like I wouldn't necessarily seek out a stack or force it, but there are occasions where it's going to happen. Like yesterday, if the Sixers are on this slate as short as they were, with no high price guys with a potential 8 to 10 man rotation, which we know half would play well over 30 minutes at 6K or less, I would probably be getting to stacking those guys as well. So it's very slate subjective, but stacking is not necessarily I force or run away from. Normally I'll try to positively correlate players in my lineup. So like yesterday, even though there was like the shot volume was there for Korkmaz, one of the correlations that I use is I tend not to have more than 2 scoring dependent guards from the same team in a lineup. So like yesterday, if you would have did something like that, Maxey, Milton, Korkmaz, maybe you would have had a little less Korkmaz, or definitely would have had lineups where it represented 2 of 3, and that's what my top lineups were. They were the very few. I think I had 69% of Korkmaz yesterday. Nice, I know. So I was behind the 8 ball because it was shooting night. But the lines that I didn't have Korkmaz did have Maxey and Milton, guys like that. Jokic brothers brought a home ticket to Miami next game. About to be WWE ringside.
Yeah, it's about to be MMA.
The Morris twins don't want none of that smoke with the Jokic brothers.
I wouldn't either.
Don't want
They're
it.
all like
They don't want
7-3.
Yeah.
They literally killed a man.
Hey man, the Jokic brothers probably killed a few people too back in Serbia or wherever they came from. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
those dudes do not play.
I don't want to get incriminated by this discussion. So what do you guys say? We're at 219. We got 13 games to start. Let's get cranked up. Game number 1 tonight on the docket. The Washington Wizards at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Project starting 5 for the Wiz kids: Spencer Dinwiddie, Bradley Beal, Contavious Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Daniel Gafford taking on Ricky Rubio. Pretty Ricky. Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, a chronic. I was gonna make a grind on me joke, but I didn't know which one of you would get that.
Hey, faster. Okay, shout out Pretty Ricky. That's the start.
Pretty Ricky joke, man.
Let's go, baby.
That's middle school, baby.
Take your time with me. Oh, it's a banger. Everyone caught a first wind up to it with a girl. Not even a wind up, straight back.
I've never seen so many people humping the ground in my life, man.
Hey, shout out middle school dances.
But yeah, so Colin Sexton torn meniscus. Ricky Rubio, Australian for beer. I like Ricky Rubio quite a bit. I know that's a contrarian line of thinking. I'm not expecting him to shoot 30 plus real points, 8 for 9 for 3 or whatever he shot against the Knicks. But we know he's been super efficient per minute. And if you're going to plant 30 plus minutes on him against, the Wizards here, there's definitely a realistic range of outcomes and a over modest expectation for him to get 30 plus fantasy points. So I like Ricky Rubio quite a bit. I do wonder if his ownership gets to an unhealthy spot, considering it's a 13 game slate, right? Even if he just got 30, would I think, a 30, 40%, 30 fantasy point game, would I be able to overcome that somewhere else? Something I'm going to be wrestling with as we get through the slate. But Rods, I guess I'll throw it to you first. What do you do with this game, and your thoughts, and how much exposure to Ricky Rubio do you expect to have?
So, today everyone's talking about that Denver team stack. I think we can team stack this Cleveland team. They're still short on bodies with Markkanen still out, Kevin Love out, and with Colin Sexton out. So I think Ricky Rubio 5,200 against this Washington team. I think I'll lock and load that every day, all day. Give me all of that. Darius Garland 6,600. I think he's intriguing with no Sexton. I think he gets a bump. Rubio is more of a pass guy. Obviously, coming off his last game, he's not going to shoot that many threes and get you 30 real life points. So a bit of a scoring bump for Garland. So at 6,600, I like him. And Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. I'm probably leaning towards Jared Allen. He's been a little bit more consistent lately. Past 4 games, 56, 55, 40, 49. 7,500 against Washington. This could be another 50 bomb for him. Give me that. And Evan Mobley, too. Power forward, 700 on DK. Coming off of a 50 bomb himself. 7K. I think you can team stack. You can play 3 Cavaliers and be all right. And the Washington side, man, I don't know if can you hear me? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
you hear me? Okay.
I just muted because the train was coming in.
Gotcha. And Washington side, I don't think I'm really getting I wanted full team stack this Cleveland team, but Washington, everyone just seems kind of fairly priced. Kyle Kuzma, 6,500. Sure, it's there, but not in love with that price. Bradley Beal, 9,500. This slate has the most studs I've ever seen, priced 9, 10K and above. This literally has to be a record for the amount of guys in that price range. So I don't see myself getting to Bradley Beal 150, sure. But I really like the Cleveland guys and not Washington.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You mentioned how many guys are priced over 10K. DraftKings doing their darndest to try and balance out. It is a 13-game slate, so naturally we're just going to have extra value. What are these 10K guys when you can throw in a Jeff Green, a Jamal Green, somebody like that? It's really going to be a matter of just going out there and getting the most raw points you can combine for. But But to touch on the Cavs front court here, I'm with you. I still think we got really deep minutes on both Mobley and Jarrett Allen as we still wait for Lauri Markkanen and Kevin Love to come back. Something to watch is Isaac Okoro's static. I don't know, Chronic, if you had an update on that based on that link that I might have DM'd you before we went live. If he does play, that might eat into some wing and forward minutes for Dean Wade, maybe Jetty Osman, guys like that. But yeah, I think I'm more comfortable pre-flop with getting to some of these Rubio, Garland, Allen, Mobley shares. On the Wizards, I mean, Kyle Kuzma is intriguing. The Cavs do have a problem with defensive rebounds. Maybe Kuzma has one of those big rebound games, but for the most part, they seem pretty spread out. And on a slate this big, I want a little less boom potential, right? Just because I want to tighten the screws a little bit. I don't want to have 10% of everybody. So I'm kind of with you. There's no one on the Wizards that are screaming that I gotta throw them in the pool. Just theoretically, you think Bradley Beal could drop 50 plus, so you would wrestle with him. But then you look at some of the competition in the 8 to 9K guard range, and you just wonder if he's going to merit being a big part of your player pool. And you're just gonna have to take stand somewhere. And this is one of those slates, guys. If you look later, and since we're talking about Bradley Beal, but if a Bradley Beal had 50, 55 fantasy points, it doesn't necessarily eliminate you from anything. Like the other night where Jokic dropped 70, but Steph Curry dropped 80. Like, there's going to be many ways to skin a cat and get to the top today. So I would just try to sharpen my player pool as strong as possible and kind of lean on that. Chronic, any thoughts on this one before we throw it to chat?
I think you guys hit it. Not to beat a dead horse. I think I'm on the more of the contrarian side in this. I don't see myself playing more than Ricky and maybe a sprinkle of Jarrett Allen. I actually wouldn't get crazy with Ricky Rubio either. Surprisingly enough, this Washington defense is not the fantasy carnival that it was last year. I made a couple of those mistakes earlier in the year. I'm not saying that they're good, but they're not terrible.
They're not last year. You're right.
Yeah. So I can't stack up Cleveland. I just can't do it. Not on the say like this. Even if you look at the game environment, right? It's a 3.5 point spread, but 209 OU. I am a sucker for close spread, so I mean that one is close, but I need a higher OU to stack up a game. Give me something like Sacramento, San Antonio is like 223. Charlotte, Memphis is 229. Those are the games I want to stack, not this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Danglazy Mofo said Raj definitely had the pretty Ricky ringtone. I bet Raj was the one.
Like I said, man, I had that Soldier Boy. Kiss me through the phone. Kiss me through the phone.
You don't know.
See you later on.
I'm ashamed because so did I,
bro.
Hey, let's go.
Yo, did y'all download it and then record it because you weren't trying to buy ringtones?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't even download it. I just hit the record button
on
in front of the computer. Yeah, you hit the record on YouTube, and hopefully no one yells in the house or something. Make sure it's clean recording.
Back in the day, we used to put them on our ringtone, not our ringtones, our voicemails. Yeah. So you call Chronic and Chronic don't answer, you might be hearing.
It'd be the most distorted. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Chronic. I can't come to the phone right now. You know what to do at the beep. And you think it sounds cool? It sounds horrible. Brooklyn Nets at the Orlando Magic also sounds horrible. Projected starting 5 for the Nets: James Harden, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin taking on Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., and Mo Bamba. He's got hoes calling. It's a 210.5 total, 10-point spread in favor of the visiting Brooklyn Nets. The Orlando Magic are the weirdest team in existence to me metrically. I think we saw it was a tweet by I think it was StatMuse put out a tweet that said when Suggs, Anthony, Carter, Bamba on the court, they have one of the higher net ratings and all in basketball, if not number one. But their conglomerate numbers, their overall numbers. First of all, defensively, as a team, the Orlando Magic have a bottom 5 defense, 110.1 points per 100 possessions, and a really, really slow pace. They have the 7th slowest pace, 97.9 possessions per game. So oftentimes you get the Magic in a low total, a low pace situation, but their defense is so bad and their team is low key so good that or at least good for fantasy, that you have to take a second look at the matchup and at these players. And on a slate that has so many 10 plus K guys, has so much ease of access to a Ricky Rubio, the Nuggets value. Maybe the Magic are one of those obvious in hindsight type of teams tonight. Catching a Nets team that, I still don't think the Nets are some lockdown defensive matchup, especially not for the guard situation. And 7,700 Cole Anthony, I feel like half the times he goes out there, he breaks the slate for 50, 60 fantasy points, 51 against Utah, 61 against Minnesota, 66 against the Knicks, and these are other kind of like low pace, low total games, right? Only 110 and 104 was that Knicks game. So I feel like it is worth doing some due diligence on this Magic lineup to see what you want to do with them for DFS. And Cole Anthony, I think he's at that uncomfortable click range where people are just not playing him because they don't know if this is real or not. And maybe at best it's a volatile range of outcome, but it's still a range of outcome from him to come out here and drop 50 plus on a big slate. And 50 plus, that dog might hunt under 8K. So I'm a little interested in Cole Anthony. Suggs is 4,400 on DK. If you project the Nets to play with a sizable lead here, Suggs might have to help shoot their way out of it. And then Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter in this front court. Like, these are the obvious names that I would have to sweep through and decide on if I want them in the pool to begin with, and then how much. On the Nets side, James Harden and Kevin Durant, both well over 10K on DraftKings. Harden still on the south side of 10K on Fanduel. I think he's dual position eligible. I've got him for right around 50 Fanduel points. Chronic, I'll start with you. Kind of an odd game to be at on a slate this big, right? A double-digit spread. But I think if you play long enough, you can appreciate there's at least a range of outcomes where this game stays close enough long enough, and we might get some overlooked value and some overlooked upside based on prices and based on where the field is just more comfortable going.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're one of those MME guys that you might need to sprinkle in a little of this game, think of maybe like some value. Franz Wagner is still only 5K. Jalen Suggs is not that much. Anthony Carter Bamba is what I think will like obviously make the most sense in terms of usage, in terms of, but also their price is there, right? Like you're talking about around 7K and Cole Anthony's 7,700, I believe. That's a tough click to me, honestly. I'm not saying he can't go out there and drop 40 and 50, but at that price point, you need 40 minimal to be happy or to contend in a tournament, especially in the slate this big, right? I'm more interested, I think, in Mo Bamba. If we could pull up his game log, that last game was bad for him. I think he played 24, 21. I'm about to pull it up really quick. But he didn't play many minutes at all, but went all the way off against Rudy Gobert that we're talking about here. Yeah, he got in foul trouble, but he had 9.7 boards, 2 steals, 4 blocks. I'm not a FanDuel player, but what I hear is that stocks matter over there. I'm sure that's like a 45-point game on FanDuel, right?
Yeah.
So I could definitely see get into him, especially on FanDuel when they count those stats a lot better.
Yeah, and I believe at last glance Mo Bamba was dual position, so you could get away with him in the forward spot as well. Let me double check that in the player projections tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. We're gonna type in Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba, by the way, Aaron Judge's walk-up music. I had to throw that out there. No, it looks like he's actually been moved to center only on FanDuel. So you do have to wrestle with, marrying your center spot to him on FanDuel, center only on Yahoo as well. So something to keep in mind. Raj, Cole Anthony gets you 45 over blank percent of the time. Like over 40% of the time, do you expect 40 plus here?
Brooklyn, yeah, he gets it done coming off of back-to-back 44-51. He even does it in tough matchups. So, it just seems like he has those random games where he gets, 25 real-life points, gets the assist, gets the rebound. 7,700 on today's slate. I probably don't get to him in 20 lineups. In 100, sure. But in 20, I just don't see myself. Chronic mentioned Mo Bamba. I'd probably go Jared Allen over Mo Bamba, but I think Jared Allen's probably going to be more popular. So Bamba as a pivot, I think it gives you similar upside. So I get the play there. And other than that, this game's almost a cross-up because out of all the studs in today's slate, do I want to play Durant and Harden? Like I said, terrible defensive metrics for Orlando, but kind of a slow pace. At 10-9 and 10-6, I think there's other studs I'd rather get to than Harden and Durant. So in 20 lines, I'll probably have no Harden or Durant either.
All right, and then lastly, before we move on to the next game, let me just hear me out here. Nick Claxton's been confirmed to miss a couple more days with an illness.
God, no.
My initial reaction on the last slate, I went to Blake Griffin, and the call, the right play ended up being Lamar Aldridge.
Yeah.
The disrespect. Where my OG's at? Hit that thumbs up if you're an OG. The disrespect, right? 4,200, pretty cheap for him on both sides. Looking for the 20-ish minute projection on him. 23 against Chicago, 33 fantasy points. The shot volume's gonna be there, probably 8 to 12 shot attempts. And he'll fill the stat sheet. So I don't think he's like a slate breaker by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think he has a world where he drops to mid-20s. And if you need a little bit of risky value in your life to make some lineups work, I would put him in the pool, cap him at a 5 to 8% in mass multi-entry, and just see what happens. So just put it out there. Let's get caught up on chat. What up, Nate Rojas? What up, Antony? Brandon McNair says Wendell Carter Jr. 50-piece, book it. I like it. Rich Homie Quinn says I like the Bomba call. I like tackling Brooklyn's interior. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Levert just got ruled out.
Yeah, he did.
Good call, chat. Does that mean Brogdon's in?
Brogdon, I think, was expected to play last time I checked.
All right, cool.
Hey, really quick, Gun, before you move on, really quick, I got to do it. So, what if I told you that you were getting a point guard, ball handling duties, 30% usage against James Harden defense? I know I said Cole Anthony, but I'm looking into it now. 35 minutes a game. He's chucking like 20 shots. It's James Harden. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean the pivots are going to be really easy to at the big like you don't expect egregious ownership on anyone over 10K, right? Like, I don't know, Westbrook against Miami, that's probably not going to pick up a ton of ownership. But KD and Harden seem like the guys that do get the matchup boost the most out of all these top guys. You could even make a case that you could just go straight up balance today and say F all the 10 plus K guys. But Harden's just fine. And the rebounds, like he may not be getting you 30 real points a game, but he's getting you these peripherals, 8 to 10 rebounds in 3 games straight. The assist will be there. I don't mind James Harden at all. I do think 10.6K, my general reaction is to want 60 plus. But hey, 50 plus if there's enough value today, and I think as this slate grows and evolves news wise, 50 plus from Harden, I'll rotate that in some lineups and see what it spits out. If I think there's some 4K guys that are likely in line for 9x value, right? So I don't hate that call. If you're carving out your 20 player pool, your 20 max player pool, what are you thinking on Harden, Chronic? Like how much percent?
Ooh, that's gonna be tough, man. I'm a 20 max player, full transparency, guys, so I don't play 150. I think that spread is gonna keep me away. Honestly, I think that I'm looking at the matchup here. Like I said, it's middle of the pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, looking at the spreadsheet, you got Cole Anthony scoring 3 points less than him. So I may have to fade it.
Yeah, and that's why I like Cole Anthony quite a bit. Like I think the mid tier at this slate really gets stronger and stronger as the time goes by, and then with Brogdon in, with Levert out, more news like that is viable, and I think that's going to make the 7-8K 9K range that much stronger. So there's a range of outcomes tonight where you maybe don't need the 10 to 12K guy. I think at least it's likely that one of those guys gets to 60 plus, but we're gonna see some big scores on a slate this big. It's just gonna happen. Last couple point guards against the Magic. Looking for it. Donovan Mitchell, about 40 DK fantasy points in 33 minutes. DeJounte Murray, 52 in 36 minutes, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 9 for 16. So that's kind of close to what an average James Harden stat line would be. So if you told yourself right now 52 fantasy points for James Harden, how would you do with that? I'm gonna leave that on you, but it's definitely a viable outcome here. So let's move on to the next game here. Let me get caught up on chat before we matriculate too far forward. Mark K says Cole Anthony, I have not rostered him, but once his stats are way better than his dad. Yeah, Rose for 45. Turner, Sabonis go off tonight, calling it now. I could see it. Let's not pretend like we don't have plenty of sample size this season of no Karis LeVert with Brogdon, with Sabonis, with Turner, right? And I still think it's a little bit more volatile, and the prices are probably appropriate. What did Sabonis get to? We'll get to that game here in a little bit, but Sabonis is at 10.2K, so you're probably going to want 50 plus from anyone 10K or better. And then Turner is something that we'll have to discuss. Bob Jones, I got everyone I want in my lineup, and I landed on Dort as the last guy in. I don't want him, but I don't want to change anything. What do you think of last guy in? Dort. I don't like Dort. Is Ingram playing tonight? He's questionable. We'll try and find you a pivot to Dort here in a little bit. Toronto Raptors. Did you have something?
I said the disrespect to Lou Dort.
I mean, he's just, it seemed like a couple times a week, people try to make Dort a thing, and it's just like, the big Dort games were without SCA, and I don't even know if Theo Maledon was out, and it was like they just didn't have people. That's when Dort was being a fantasy play at 40 minutes, and he's just not somebody I lean on. Every now and then, maybe he's not the worst play on the planet, but he's not that high upside play, and the punts are really where the money comes from, if we're being honest. The Toronto Raptors at the Boston Celtics. Next game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby. Is that a Pascal Siakam sighting in the lineup? Hold up. That's nice. Yo, did I mute Raj, or did he mute himself and now he's trying to talk? There.
We back. I said Siakam's back, and we back.
Bro, I just looked over there. I saw your mouth moving. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't mute him. Hey, the Raptors are up against Dennis Schroeder, Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams, the Time Lord. 206 our total 3-point spread in favor of the home team. Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown still out, still big usage numbers on Jason Tatum, a little bit more welcoming Fanduel price than the DK price, but maybe this Raptors team shakes up a lot of what we know as this team. So far this season, they've been hit or miss, and they've staggered some injuries already, right? A couple games without Scotty Barnes, as Scotty Barnes evolves as a player, and then we've seen kind of a consistent game log out of guys like Gary Trent, and then Anunoby has had some big spots and some small spots. So I guess what we would have to do with this Raptors team is just kind of use process of elimination on what we expect the Siakam effect to be. And is Siakam one of these guys at 8,300 that in 2 weeks is going to be 9,500, and we missed the opportunity on getting him this low owned? Raj, it's your team. What are you expecting with the Raptors and your rose-colored glasses against the Celtics defense that I don't mind targeting this season? And some of these games have been that the Celtics have been involved in have been pretty fruitful for fantasy. What do you do with your Raptors tonight on a 13-game slate?
So the Raptors kind of, getting healthier with Siakam back. I feel like guys like OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes are still priced where Siakam's out. Probably don't get to them. Even Siakam at 8,300, coming back from injury, played 25 minutes last game. I don't see him playing a 35, 36-minute game. Still, he might get bumped up to 30 at tops. 8,300. I think that's going to be his price, 80, kind of 82 to 8,700. I don't think he's a 9K player with the way this Raptors team is built. The only guy I'm kind of slightly interested in is Fred VanVleet at 7,600. I think he got the price down. He's been kind of an $8,500 guy the entire season. Now 76. He has that double-double upside, 25 points, 10 assists, gets some rebounds. So I like that. But other than that, in the Raptors, I'm just not getting to anybody else. On the Boston side, Jaylen Brown is still out, but they priced everyone up. Jason Tatum at 10-4, one of those studs coming off of a 57 spot. Against the Raptors, sure. Could he get you 55 DKP? Sure. Does that get it done today? Probably has to be at 10-4, he probably has to be the highest scorer of the slate or close to it. I mean, after Giannis and Curry, he would have to outscore everybody else. Dennis Schroeder, 6'1". There's still some upside there at his price. So don't mind getting to him. But it just kind of depends on your build. If you're going to play the value guys and get all the studs, or are you going to play a multiple, 6K, 7K guys?
Play this game.
Play this game, okay.
You like this game, Chronic?
Do not play this game.
Oh,
Fade it.
I heard play this game.
Yeah. No.
Bro, that's
for the record, fade this game. I'm going to tell you why. So Toronto has one of the best defenses in the league. Obviously, that's without Pascal Siakam. Is he a plus defender? No, but right now they're playing really well.
I think Siakam's a plus defender, but okay.
Okay, I'm not saying that he is or isn't. He's not known for his defense. He's known for spin moves, right? That was me.
So for defense, I was gonna say I don't think Siakam's a
I think
flop.
you're sleeping on Siakam defensively.
Yeah.
But all right.
The point is that it's a really tough matchup for the Boston Celtics. The only person I'm interested in playing on the Boston side would be Jason Tatum, and I think it's a complete fade. This is the second lowest paced team in the league, and then Boston's not that far behind. This game is going to be a slugfest. It's probably going to be like 95 to 82 or something like that. I can't do it. I can't get there. Watch Time Lord drop 60, but I just can't do it.
Looking back to the beginning of last year, Lowry off the court, Van Vliet, Siakam on Van Vliet, and Siakam both have about 25% usage rates apiece and about 1.1 fantasy point per minute each. So if you get those guys to 30, 35 minutes on their minute projection, I think they could be viable. I do agree.
That's unfair. That's unfair, gun. Scotty Barnes is new to the team, obviously, and he's commanded. I'm not saying he's commanded so much usage, right? That's not what I'm saying. But they're making a point to get him, into the offense. So I'm not saying he's picking up exactly what Laurie did, but
yeah, that's true. We saw 25 minutes out of Siakam against the Nets, over a point per minute, 15 real points. Some of the shot volume went to double digits. So I agree with that. I guess maybe Gary Trent would be the guy that maybe Anunoby goes back to under 20 shots a game, something like that on average. And then Gary Trent becomes a little bit more volatile game to game. And that's what we saw in the very first game back. I don't want to overreact to one game sample size, but yeah, I guess there's different ways that this could fluctuate. I would say that the main reason why I wouldn't be completely dismissive of this game is because I do get to aggressive minute projections for both teams, 34 plus on 3 guys on the Raptors so far for me, and then 34 plus on 3 guys on the Celtics, and some of the guys that aren't in the mid 30s, like Al Horford, guys that have been big block stock getters for Fanduel purposes. They're in play for me. But I think Jason Tatum is the guy that I'm most enamored with, and it's probably going to be an aggressive stance on Fanduel, right? Almost $1,000 discount. Tatum without Jaylen Brown is just what you want. Jason Tatum, DKP by game log without Jaylen Brown. Let's go last 10 games and just kind of show you his floor to ceiling ratio. I think I might have jacked up the query. Tatum DKP by game log without Jaylen Brown last 10 games. So he's gotten you 50 plus straight up in his last 4-5 games with him. Now there is some playoff games in there, I believe, against the Nets. But even going back to last year, we saw 70, high 40. So I do think like 50 plus is so very valuable that at 9,500 on FanDuel, I gotta get to at least a chunk of Tatum. I'm okay with him being more expendable on DraftKings, but even my conservative projection early on gave me right at 50 fantasy points on FanDuel. So I'm gonna be there on Tatum. Even if I don't expect much real scoring to happen here. And then everything else I think is volatile and expendable. And I know you speak from a 20 lineup mindset, so it makes a lot more sense to just say, nope, don't need a 206 total. But from a 150 mindset, I got to get to some Tatum today. Let me get caught up on chat, and we'll move on to the next one. Life of Sen says Tatum kills the Raptors. Let's go. Lorenzo, you're... Love Time Lord and Big Al. Al will have to be a bucket tonight with no Jaylen Brown. I don't mind that. Gun always jacks up the query. This guy with his guyness. Kim Birch, by the way, out for the Raptors. Insignificant, but not totally insignificant because he did represent a little chunk of minutes. And I guess that's just evenly dispersed between Siakam and Anunoby and Achua, and not so much Chris Boucher. And Chris Boucher is getting to that annoying $3,600 price point that one of these days, Alice, he's going to be chopped. What up, you tall? You're
on the floor, bro. Nick Nurse hates this man.
He did something. He's still talented. I don't know why he's not getting the run.
Yeah.
Chat, I know that doesn't say 37 likes and 120 of the realest OGs on YouTube hanging out. I know that's not what I'm seeing, right?
Y'all be slacking.
Y'all do y'all free week pass. 100 likes. That's all I need from you. Get them likes up. Hit that thumbs up. And if you're lurking, hit that subscribe button, because the only way you can win the week pass to rundfs.com is by being subscribed, because you're going to have to type in chat. You can't type in chat if you're not subscribed. The Detroit Pistons at the Houston Rockets. Chronic, are you ready for some Detroit basketball?
Christian Wood.
But I think this is the battle of the top two picks, right? We got a project starting five of Killian Hayes, maybe. Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart taking on Kevin Porter Jr., maybe. Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate, Daniel Tice, Christian Wood, revenge.
Gang, let's get it.
210.5 is our total. Chronic, give me an update on Hayes and Kevin Porter statuses. What do you got? And then where do you start on this game?
Give me 1 second to pull up. So Kevin Porter Jr. right now, what I'm seeing on him is that he had a left eye contusion. Words are hard. Words are hard. So he's truly questionable. So there's no lean here if he's going to actually, be in or out there. And then who else did you want?
KPJ and Killian Hayes were the two.
KPJ and Killian Hayes, got you. Then the Killian Hayes is probable. He had a thumb injury, but he is probable for the game.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Christian Wood revenge game against the Pistons. The team that gave up on him. I'm looking up the stat muse right now to see, because I think the last time he dropped a 20-20 on us or something like that. Last 10 games. I know it hasn't been 10 games. But I think Christian Wood's going to be a decent play today. Yeah, he had 18 and 11, 40 DKP. So, not anything crazy, but I don't think there's anybody in that front court that can stop him. As for this game, talk about still a lower OU 210 here, so not the best. I could definitely see Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham going at each other in this game as well. So that should be fun if you're looking for those, kind of mid-tier values there. I think that without KPJ, Jalen Green's usage is going to be through the roof. It's going to be the Jalen Green and Christian Wood show. Pick and roll, screen, pick and pop really for both of them, as well as Jalen Green loves to chuck shots as well. So with KPJ out, I'll probably get to some Jalen Green, but sprinkle me in a little Christian Wood, and then will Cade Cunningham shoot 1 for 10, Raj?
I mean, first, you imagine thinking Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green were better than Scotty Barnes. And Scotty Barnes running away with Rookie of the Year. Best Rookie by a mile. Two, I mean, Jalen Green, could he shoot 1 for 12 again? I mean, he hasn't been shooting that efficient all year. He could shoot 3 for 12 like he did last game. He can shoot 5 for 20 today with no Kevin Porter, maybe a big bump. But at 5,300, again, a guy like Rubio in that same price tag, I'm taking Ricky Rubio all day, every day over a guy like Jalen Green. Again, there's two bad teams going at it, so I think there are going to be some DFS plays. You mentioned Christian Wood. I do think he's a play, but again, DK just priced him up here at 9,200 at that center spot only. A guy like J-Val will talk to in a spot against one of the worst teams against centers. You just got so many. Yeah, you just got so many other guys. I mean, Towns, Sabonis, all in kind of good spots here too. I think it'll be kind of tough to give a center spot to Christian Wood. I think in 100 lineups he's in play. In 20, maybe I get to him, but I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. And the Detroit side, I mean, you mentioned Cunningham. He's the only one I'm kind of interested in. I mean, Jeremy Grant, 7,200. He's always intriguing. He always has an upside spot, but not someone you kind of run to, and definitely not a core play. But again, two bad teams going at it. The only guy I'm kind of interested in is Christian Wood and maybe some Jalen Green. But again, if I end up with none of this game, I think I'm okay with it.
If you are a fan of DVP, Houston gives up the fourth most points to the power forward position. And we know that outside of Cade Cunningham, the highest usage guy in Detroit is Jeremy Grant. So, Hey, if you're a fan of DVP and, he should be out there getting minutes as long as the game is close, Jeremy Grant's not that expensive. I think he's 7,200 on DK.
Yeah, Raj, I'm so far opposite you here. It's not even funny. I'll tell you right now, if Killian Hayes, you said KPJ is good to go, right, Chronic?
Killian Hayes is good to go. KPJ is a true questionable.
All right, so if we get no KPJ, this is a game stack. Like I know 210 isn't like your grandfather's total, but we still getting deep minutes, deep per minute potential and great ceiling at some really nice prices. So you can give me Christian Wood, especially at 8,200 on FanDuel. That would be a core play for me more likely. And we mentioned Jalen Green versus Cade Cunningham. That'd be fun to watch. And then, yeah, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant come with more volatility, but the minutes I got on them are pretty strong. So I don't know, Raj. I guess we're different. And the only thing I would ask, the only thing I would say, Raj, is why I only got a problem when you in the hood. Welcome to the good life. Like, I'm new in the hood. The only thing I wish is I wish a Christian Wood in my lineup. Let's go, chat. Thumbs up.
Bars.
Get hype. Let's go.
I think I'm gonna pass on Christian Wood.
Okay, 9,200 DK, I get it, but on FanDuel, close to a lot. Close to a lot. Just saying.
If you look at people in that price range, right, especially if you're going, I'm not saying mid tier, right, but he's 9,200, JVal's 9,100. The only other center that I'm truly considering in that price range is Bam Adebayo, and he's almost $1,000 cheaper, right? So the point I'm making here is I think if you're going to keep a tight core at center, I think Christian Wood deserves to be in that core. I honestly do.
I'm in full agreement of you there.
You like Christian Wood over Jonas? We'll talk to him.
I would say that would be contingent on Brandon Ingram's status.
What I would say was that you don't get 100% of Jonas Valanciunas play.
I'm looking for a bet here. I'll take JVal over Christian Wood right now, regardless of Ingram's status.
I think that
right now.
It's a wash. I honestly think it's a wash. I don't think it's going to be much of a difference.
Okay. Just go watch some of this smoke. You're gonna
what's the 1v1? Wood versus JVal?
Yeah. I'll take JVal all day, every day.
I mean, I like JVal too, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not anti JVal.
I know. Yeah, I just want some betting action. That's all.
Let me think about. I'll get you some action out there, young blood. Okay, but let me. So because that's a two head. Like, one, Christian Wood is obviously exponentially greater play if KPJ is out, and then Jonas Valanciunas is exponentially greater play if Brandon Ingram's out. And we already know Herbert Jones is iffy. So like, there's some moving variables to kind of. So I mean, I'll take your money. But
hey man, let's do it right now. I don't even have to wait for the news. I'll take it right now. You shook. Hold
on. Let me real quick.
I'll back into the corner. We got a bunch of games. We got to keep going.
Yeah. All right.
Got shook. He ain't ready for this smoke.
Anyway, chat, where we at? If there's a spot for Cade to shoot well, it's this one, man. Cade versus Jalen Green. Let's go. I like you better without the awesome. No. Awesome was fun. We have more fun on this show, but don't get me in trouble. Stars and scrubs are balanced on DK. I think balance is looking pretty strong right now.
It's a way to go.
Daddy's Young and Eubanks don't sleep on sleepers. I definitely don't mind it. Let's move on to the next game. By the way, so last time out, the Rockets were trying to get into a deeper rotation. Is what I heard was Silas say. We'll see if that is going to be like a thing. I don't know that I don't know if it's a Doc Rivers thing where I gotta play 10 guys and then play 8. But I feel like my Doc impression is getting worse every time I do it. Let's pull up the what is it? The Houston
voice.
Huh? Yeah. I tried to show my girl. I was like. She's like, why? What is that? I was like, let me show you. And then every video I found of Doc, he had the most normal voice. And I was like, I promise, it's a thing.
So I get the one he's yelling at Austin.
So it's not Blake's fault. I got that from the Jamie Foxx impression. So last time out, I mean, we're talking 1, 2, Jesus Ace. Yeah, he did get a lot of minutes for a lot of people, but a lot of that was fourth quarter blowout run here. So I guess if you read between the tea leaves, I mean, there is some early minutes. So this could be a more saturated than you would want minute rotation, but I still think the big boys get theirs. So something to think about. Let's move on to the next game. While we're thinking about something to think about, Knicks hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Project starting 5 for the Bucks. Bucks night 2 of back-to-back. Drew Holiday, George Hill, Grayson Allen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bobby Portis taking on Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and resting Mitchell Robinson. He's questionable. Nerlens Noel also questionable. Went to the locker room twice last time. Ended up just not coming back into the game. We mentioned the Bucks night 2 of back-to-back. Bobby Portis without Brook Lopez. while it lasts, is still probably far too cheap on every site. It's 5,500. He's dual position eligible forward and center, and 30 plus minutes are probably coming his way, especially going against a sizable front court of the New York Knicks. 24 minutes against the Knicks, 3 games back, 21 DKP. You're wanting 30 plus fantasy points to kind of feel like you're getting a good deal. I think that's very, very possible. Wouldn't be like a tier 1 like maybe it was yesterday, but I think tier 2 is a good starting point for Bobby Portis. The real question here is, right, did Raj just leave? Yo, let's just say bad stuff about Raj. I just looked up and he's gone.
Yeah.
He's just going to repeat everything we say. The real question is, what do we do with Giannis Antetokounmpo? If anything, very slow burn yesterday at 12.3K chronic on a 13-game slate. What does Giannis have to put up to feel like, man, why did I fade that? Is it 70 plus? Like, don't get me wrong. I think 60 plus fantasy points, that dog will probably hunt if you got the right value plays. But I think lineups look so much different if you're going to the 8-9Ks versus the 12.3K. Is it fair to say that Giannis has to be the highest scorer on the slate by a pretty sizable margin to feel like you have to get there? And what are you thinking in your 20 lineups? Are you full fading Giannis Antetokounmpo?
600 more than the second best and the second highest scoring player, Steph Curry, right? So yes, you have to be significantly the highest scorer on the slate to justify that, because we know there's going to be some mid-tier to, like, that 10K guys that are going to put up around 50. So if you're paying 50 or 55 for Giannis at 12-3, you put yourself behind the 8 ball there. It's an opportunity cost, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm here to tell you to fade Giannis Antetokounmpo. Gasp! Oh my God! Let me tell you why. This game is going to be a slugfest. I don't think it's going to. He's not going to get the peripherals that he needs to score 60 plus fantasy points. I mean, obviously, we don't game log watch here, but if you look at the last game against the Knicks, just to show, like, he still had a great game, 25, 7, and 4, but that was only 43 DKP. And you need a ceiling game from Giannis at this price point, and the Knicks really don't yield ceiling games, in my opinion. At least not to the front court here. So I'm off of them today. Probably full fading at 20 lineups. I think I can take my money elsewhere. And also, really quick before I kick it to Raj, if Robinson and Noel is out, play Taj Gibson at 3K. I'll just leave it at that.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's a strong take.
He played 32 minutes last game.
He did.
He had like 22, 23 DKP.
I'm telling you right
if
now.
They're out. You play Taj. I will have
70%. Stop.
Okay.
No.
We'll see.
Like your 23
We'll
is
see.
nothing on a 13 game slate. I'm telling y'all, your 3K guys are probably gonna need 10x. Like, I'm just keeping it a buck.
Who else is 3K that you're going to play other than JaMychal Green?
Oh my gosh, chronic.
And he's going to be steamed to the moon.
It's Taj Gibson, the hill you try to die on.
Taj, I will do it
Can't do
today.
it. I
I
literally.
will do it
There are
today.
You wanted
things.
Michael Green versus Taj Gibson bet?
I know.
Oh, see if I get real quiet.
That's a fish bet.
That's fair point.
In a vacuum, if you're satisfied with 20 plus, if you feel like 20 plus is there, go for it. It's a hellacious slow grind. I would not co-sign that on a 13 game slate. Like, it's just, that's noisy, risky value that I don't like. If you're playing Taj Gibson, it's to play Giannis Antetokounmpo, which we just said we don't need to do. You don't need Taj Gibson.
Steph Curry.
Stop it. Get some help.
Steph Curry.
Raj, I'm afraid to ask you what you're doing with this game because you were like gone and you're just.
I went to the bathroom. Yeah, I went to the bathroom and came back.
This mother.
Oh,
you don't just pee on yourself? Like, what do you got on this game?
I mean, so I think I like Drew Holiday's interesting here. 6,500. Played 30 minutes last night. At that price tag with no Middleton, hasn't gotten his upside game yet, but I think it's coming. You get your 40 bomb at 6,500. So I think some of him, especially running 100 lineups, is fine. Fading, yeah. I mean, he's the guy who can be the highest scorer in any slate. I know this game, like Chronic said, is going to be kind of a grind.
Just to cut you off, he literally has to be, and it just being the highest scorers on this slate, I don't think carries as much weight unless it's exponentially higher than the next man up. And I'm talking like,
yeah, but I mean that's like, I mean, he's 12-3, Curry is 11-7, Luka's 11-4.
right,
any of those guys have the highest scorer slate.
I agree, and it's not necessarily co-signing those guys. Like my projection gave me 66. I'm gonna take like right now. I'm okay with like it's 12.3K if I'm leaving 60. Actually, on DK, I got him at 61. I feel like I'm gonna like my lineups more pre-flop without jamming 12.3K Giannis in there, and that's not enough. Everyone, if you like your studs and scrubs, you like some value plays on this slate, but I don't think him necessarily being the highest fantasy point scorer on the slate is as much of a negative fade today as a typical slate. Like 60 plus points probably means a little bit more on a 5-game slate, a 6-game slate.
For sure.
13 games, you can give me, a bunch of 48s, 348s.
It comes to how the value guys do. Like, it depends if, guys on Denver come through or not, right? Yeah. So if those guys come through and he gets a 60, that's fine. If Jermichael gets 10x, you'll take the 60.
That's the thing with Giannis is it's never just, is Giannis a good play? It's usually going to be a 2v2, even sometimes a 3v3.
3v3, yeah. No, I hear you. No, I agree with that, but I'll play Giannis today at 12-3. I think he's easy to get to. Just kind of fits in line with all the value out there. So give me some Giannis. I think Julius Randle's interesting. He had a really great game against Milwaukee last time. He always plays 35 to 38 minutes. He's going to see the usage. And I think it's a guy who's going to see, 5% ownership kind of deal at 10-3. So I think a 60 bomb from Julius Randle is very viable here. So I like him in tournaments. Other than that, Kemba's intriguing, 5,300, coming off of a bad shooting game. But it's just Julius Randle for me as a play I'm confident on.
Milwaukee pushing the pace, and you typically like shooters against them. Shooters gonna shoot. So while you out there playing Taj Gibson, Chronic, what do you think about Derrick Rose at 4,500? Optimal matchup, I think, to get a couple extra possessions. And at 4,500, I'm looking for 25 plus. Against Milwaukee 3 games ago, 44 fantasy points. Now 8 rebounds is very much an outlier. It's an anomaly. But 28, if I told you right now, 28's in the cards for him. I know, there was some no Kemba action going on here. But I think because of the pace, because of the way you score against the Bucks generally, I think Derrick Rose is right up in the conversation for a solid median projection. I spit back 22. I think if 25's going to happen a decent amount of time at 4,500, I'd probably put him as some filler, cap him at 10%, and just kind of see what happens from there. But that's all I got from there.
It truly depends on where you have his minutes at, right? The reason why his minutes kind of fluctuates, the reason why he played 30 minutes in that Milwaukee game, I actually watched that game while I was on the plane coming back to Houston, is that they were getting blown out. They were down by like 20 in the first quarter. He came in and he was the spark plug. So Tom Thibodeau obviously rolled the high hand. Kemba only played 15 minutes. Kemba was not hurt. He just got sat down because Derrick Rose outplayed him, and he was the spark plug to get them back into the game and to win the game. So do you think that happens again? I mean, maybe. I think more times than not, Milwaukee probably just, wipes them. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to spend too much time here, but a couple fringe guys that can get there. Grayson Allen has been projected pretty well. It's been putting up near 30 fantasy points a decent chunk of time. And then Drew Holiday on DraftKings, 6,500. If you think 40 plus is a range of outcome for him, I don't hate that call. But generally a game that I'm not too enthralled by. Let me see what you guys got in the live chat before we move on to the next one. Josh says, yes, Taj Gunn hates Taj. So I think Josh was the one that was on Taj last slate. Just know that, you had a little bit of run good because Nerlens Noel also got injured there. So, I don't know, be cognitive of that. If the spot was better, I'd probably...
We're out. I said if they both were out.
Right.
We don't know
I'm saying, don't come at me victory lapping Taj Gibson when Noel got hurt. If the spot was better, I'd probably give Greek a shot. The spot isn't the best. I think the pace and the totals is just what it is.
There's a lot of studs that are not in good spots today. Or not the most ideal, I'll say that.
Yeah. Let's get caught up on the next, or let's go to the next game. I already got caught up on chat. Get them thumbs up going. 53. We're over halfway to the 100 like goal. And then if we hit our goal, we'll get to a free week pass of rundfs.com VIP to anyone in the chat. Even if you're an active subscriber already, a VIPer, you can add a free week on, or you can pay it forward. Oklahoma City Thunder at the New Orleans Pelicans. Next game on the docket, project starting 5 for the Thunder. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, Darius Baisley, Jeremiah Robinson Earl taking on Devontae Moonlight, grand friend of the show, Nickel Alexander-Walker, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and Jonas Valanciunas. 209.5 is our total for this one, with a 4.5 point spread in favor of the home team. New Orleans Pelicans Chronic, you got anything on Ingram? I saw Herbert Jones said he is going to be a game time decision. But if Ingram can't go, we would get a lot of what we've seen the last 4 or 5 games for the Pelicans, where the usage goes to Devontae and Jonas Valanciunas, but they haven't quite been that competitive, and they get some lopsided results here. What do you got on Ingram? And then if this game did get no Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, you specifically called him out as the cover boy. How much of him, if you knew Ingram was out right now?
Yeah, so Ingram's dealing with a hip injury still. They said that he should be fine within the next couple of days, but still truly a game time decision, truly questionable. So we don't know. He could give it a try, but it's still something that you're gonna have to monitor. Pass lock as well, right? Because this game is at 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe. So there's no way you're gonna know before a lock. So with that being said, you're gonna have to swap the odds a little bit, boys. But with Ingram out, this is the nut spot for J Val. Raj alluded to it earlier. I got to pick the cover boy today, and it's him without a question. This is a 2020 game. It's just that simple. This Earl dude can't guard him. Baisley can't guard him. You gonna put Josh Giddey on him? He's a wing. No, you're not. J-Val eats. And like I said, the difference between J-Val last year and Memphis, if you were, playing DFS last year and this year, is minutes. This man is an animal. Absolute animal. Lock in J-Val. Not lock, I'm not saying 100%, but if you ask me specifically what I would get to him in 20 lineups, he'll be up north of 50%. Without Ingram.
J. Cole in the chat. Wait a minute. J. Cole. Jermaine. Cole. Mr. Nice. Young Simba. And then what's up, J. Cole, Jonathan Clark here. Get them likes up, boys. Raj, what do you do with the Pelicans? You seem to be stuck on some J-Val here. Is your stance different if Ingram's in? I think it's like there's a case to J-Val's fine no matter what. Obviously the usage goes up without Ingram, and I see some Josh Hart love in the chat. I think Josh Hart has been a play for me because the minute projection gets really, really high. One, without Ingram, but also without Herbert Jones. So kind of be keeping that in mind. But Raj, J-Val, no matter what on Ingram, give me your exposure if Ingram's in, if Ingram's out.
So the Oklahoma City Thunder are the second worst team against centers. Whether Ingram plays or not, I'm locking in J-Val. It's one of my highest owned guys on the slate. I think this is a 60 bomb for him. He should feast in the spot. I'm talking 25 points, 20 rebounds here, 9,100. Give me all the J-Val regardless of Ingram. You guys mentioned Josh Hart. Sure, if Ingram misses, yes. If Ingram plays, probably not, just because the minutes go down. Even if Ingram plays, I don't see him play. Maybe I think he might be on a minutes limit just because he's missed now quite a few games. So he might only play 25 to 30 minutes or kind of limited in that way. So not in love with Josh Hart. It's just a J-Val play for me here. And OKC side, SGA is interesting, but DK just priced everyone up today. 8,900. It's just, he can get you 40 plus, sure. It's just tough to get to him in today's slate with such a massive slate and him being priced the way he is. I think it's just J-Val for me, regardless of Ingram in this spot.
Okay, so Devontae Graham's just going to drop this free 50, and you don't want none to do with it. Okay,
Devontae Graham not dropping 50. No,
better than Derrick
Rose. When's the last time he dropped 50?
I don't know about 50, but he's definitely won 100K twice in my short recollection. But you are factual with the DK pricing today. It's much more obtainable for some of these guys to fall in lineups on Fanduel. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's a great example. $1,300 difference in price point from site to site. So I can get that 40 plus from SGA and feel okay with it, but 40 at 89.9K, it's a lot less cheese on my taco in that regard. So I'm not excited for that. But if you want to target this game for some stackability, I do think SGA, Josh Giddey, maybe even Darius Baisley. For what it's worth, I do have Lou Dort at a decent minute and a decent projection that I wouldn't hate. 25, 27, but for the most part, I'm very much keyed in on J-Val, but especially if Ingram were to miss, and then I'm not anti Devontae Graham. I think 30 to 40 fantasy points isn't an outlier range of outcome here. Maybe it's a little lower on the median range of outcome, especially if Ingram was in, but I still think it's viable. We get caught up on chat. Rich on me, Quinn Temple could be a great leverage play off of the Denver value if Ingram and Jones are out.
I played him last game. He went off. Go
PG. 00187 says, great show, guys. Man, I appreciate that, PJ. If you guys are out there lurking, you're like, what the heck? They're talking DFS and it's not just numbers and monotony. Hit that subscribe button, man. Come back tomorrow. We do this every weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Isaiah Rob says Will Barnes a must play. Well, we'll talk about that in just a second. Let's move on to the next game. Mavericks at the Chicago Bulls. Project starting 5 for the Mavs. Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Kristaps Porzingis, and Dwight Powell taking on Lonzo Ball. Zach LaVine, Javonte Green, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. We got a 215.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls. Doncic, 11.4K on DK, getting so close to single digits on Fanduel at dual position eligibility. Interesting game to think about targeting. I think Zach LaVine, as much as we feel like DraftKings has overpriced a lot of this slate, did they miss the ball on Zach LaVine at 7,600? My dude's out here averaging 26 real points a game. I got him for over 40 fantasy points. Chronic, is this a must? Like, how much is too much? He's gotten you 40 plus as far as the eye can see when you open that game log. Yes, please. What are you doing with Zach LaVine?
And I know Dallas has been playing, I guess you would call it well. I don't think that this is not like a smash DVP matchup by any stretch of the imagination, but are you scared of Tim Hardaway Jr.'s defense? I would say no. And usage really wins out here, in my opinion. 7,600, I think I'm going to have a nice amount of Zach LaVine, just because, I mean, realistically, from his usage rate and just how much he can score real points, he's a value play. I know he's not like 5K and below, but 7,600 for a player of his caliber is a value play.
I agree. Matter of fact, you mentioned that. Let's go to the rundfs.com VIP spreadsheet. Check out my player projections from about an hour and 30 minutes ago, an hour 40 minutes ago. There's a couple of stuff that I haven't adjusted to. I haven't adjusted the Karis LeVert news. But how far down do we got to get to Zach LaVine? Control F.
He has to score less than 40 in 6 straight games.
Yeah, 5
and
and a half. Yeah.
And they took his price down 1,000 from the last game. DK either missed it here or they're begging you to play him.
What do they know that I don't?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in on that. And then I've been a sucker for 6K 6K Lonzo Ball. Dude, I'm getting like sponsor emails left and right. Maybe these Jermaine Cole jokes they just hit different. I've been a sucker at 6K Lonzo Ball, and that's been kind of burning me sometimes because more often than not, I'm just getting like 20 to maybe 30 on FanDuel. FanDuel gave me $5,600 Lonzo Ball, and I just know he's a guy that sooner or later, like, it's going to be a volatile range of outcome, but if I keep putting him in the player pool, cap him at 10%, there's a world where he drops 40 fantasy points. And on FanDuel, a site that weighs the stocks a little bit more, he's going to average almost 3 stocks a game. So I still am a sucker for Lonzo Ball. And if he keeps getting cheaper on FanDuel, I'm going to keep playing him. And then let's talk about the front court here. Another reason I like Zach LaVine is because with DeMar DeRozan playing a little bit more against bigs in this matchup, he's going to catch more Dorian Finney-Smith defense, more Porzingis defense, which is better than the general perception. Just more potential upside for Zach LaVine to pay off that $7,600 price tag. So I'm very much in on LaVine there. And then Jalen Brunson, I love playing this dude. He just gives me 30 fantasy points every time. I think his success maybe has detracted a little bit from Luka's ceiling. Quick question. I guess I'll start with Raj and then Chronic answer this. 11.4K. You think about your 20 lineups tonight. Is Luka in the mix or nah, Raj?
Man, I mean, I can't remember a slate where you needed him in the winning lineup this year. Like, I don't think he's been in the optimal lineup this year yet at his price tag. Jalen Brunson's really stepped it up, and I think it's taken away some of his playmaking duties. He's only averaging 6.7 assists per game. So I think the growth of Jalen Brunson has really limited his upside there, especially in the assist department. Porzingis is back. Obviously he's playing. I'll probably get to know Luka in 20 lineups, and I think the field does the same thing. So I guess in tournaments, it's intriguing. But again, he just hasn't flashed that upside this year to be a tournament-winning player at that price. And everyone else really is kind of price supporting. Porzingis at 6,800 does have some upside. He's going to have those 45-point games where he gives you 20, 10, and a couple blocks against Chicago. I could see him getting a few blocks on DeRozan, Vucevic, and Levine attacking the basket. So could be a spot for him at that price tag. Don't hate it. Don't love it. And like you mentioned, Zach LaVine at that price, he's no DeRozan. He's no DeRozan with his efficiency, but Zach LaVine 7,600. It's one of the few misprices DK actually has.
He's no DeRozan. What do you mean? He's
He
literally they have like the same stat line on average. What do you mean?
It's called efficiency.
It doesn't matter. 26 points a game, like
that's fine. You're looking at raw numbers. You're looking at raw numbers. That's great. DeRozan's true shooting percentage is a lot higher than Levine's. But yeah, no, 7,600. He's definitely slightly mispriced here. So play some of him 7-6, give you a floor of 40. You'll take that all day, every day.
All right, chat. What do you guys got on this one before we matriculate on to the next one? Hollywood says Turner's going to eat. Yeah, probably. We're going to move on to that game in just a minute. Charlotte Hornets at the Memphis Grizzlies. Projects already 5-4. The Hornets, LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward. Chronic, I guess are you going to play Luka in 20 lineups? No? Okay. Projects 35 for the Hornets. LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, Mason Plumlee, taking on John Morant, DeAnthony Melton, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams. It's going to get you one board. What? The other day, people were on Adams, and I just didn't get it. Tonight, I can get it. You can give me some Steven Adams here today. Nonetheless, though, I'm still worried about the minutes for this front court. Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, Kyle Anderson got a little boost there with Zaire Williams being out. Xavier Tillman, Brandon Clark got a little bit of run there. So I don't think like guaranteed minutes in this front court is going to be something I would lock in and high tier it. But I think Adams under 5K on DraftKings can certainly play a role for fantasy if he got the run. One thing to note about this game, Chronic, if you can give me an update on Dylan Brooks and Zaire Williams. If Brooks does play, that would immediately cause a ripple effect because we've been getting deep minutes on Anthony Melton, Desmond Bain. Is he closer to in than out or not?
I think that Williams is probably closer to being in than Dylan Brooks is. Dylan Brooks was assigned to the G League team a week ago. Cause he had no setbacks then with his hand. With that being said, if we know that these guys are truly questionable. And I know I said that a bunch of times, but there's not much news coming out in that field. But with Brooks back, you could definitely see that he could. I think he's trending towards playing. But you could definitely see him replacing either Melton or Bain in the starting lineup and cutting into these guys' minutes.
Yeah, and we'll see how much this becomes like last year's rotation where only John Morant was the guy getting over 30 and it wasn't even that aggressive. We'll see if they fall into that. And that's unfortunate here because I love picking on the Charlotte Hornets. They were one of the fastest paced teams with one of the worst defensive efficiencies. I love that combination. So like pretty flap. Like I would like to get to some John Morant. It's kind of expensive on both sides. If we get to Brooks in, that wing and guard rotation gets a little bit uncomfortable to rely on. So I'd like him to be out one more game, but we'll see. On the Hornets side, LaMelo Ball's 8,700 on FanDuel, but 10K on DraftKings. LaMelo Ball is the same price as Luka Doncic. Deserved, sure. But just kind of crazy how DraftKings has addressed, perhaps overcorrected some price points, and then a couple of them slide through like to Zach LaVine. Terry Rozier is 53 on FanDuel, 63 on DK, and so is Gordon Hayward in terms of difference in price, 61 on FanDuel, 68 on DK. Those guys have been picking up ownership slate to slate here. I expect that to continue here. And then Miles Bridges, I finally got into the Miles Bridges sweepstakes in that Lakers game. I mean, I cored him, right? Like I was like, you know what? I'm buying. I'm a believer. And then I get like his most modest output on 43 minutes of playtime here. But I again, goldfish memory. Could I get 40 plus? I think it's possible, but not something I'm going to prioritize. PJ Washington still out. Mason Plumlee in this front court. And then Kelly Oubre off the bench, 4,700, 4,200, kind of right there at that previously mentioned Derrick Rose area. So if you wanted to look his way, go for it. Weird game, right? Because this is one of the highest totals on the slate. We love picking on the Hornets. Chronic, did DraftKings do enough to push you away from this game price wise? Even on the Grizzlies side, John Morant's almost 10K. Like, you got to get some big boy numbers in return. But it's everything we want. Good pace and good total.
Yeah, it is, man. But man, Taylor Jenkins in this rotation, it's starting to scare me a little bit, especially if you tell me Dylan Brooks is trending towards playing or will be back pretty soon, right? But we only care about this game right here. I'm struggling. I'm truly struggling here because if you look at the minute projections of these guys, I think that they're a little more fickle than what we think. Because that last game against the Timberwolves, they play overtime, and like Jaren Jackson only still played 31 minutes. Like they are doing the Doc Rivers 10, 12 deep of that team, and it's hard for me to put to put some faith in a lot of these players. I want to say outside of John Morant because he still is going to get his 30 to 32 minutes a game. So to me, I think on the Memphis side, it might be a wash. And that is very disappointing considering who they're playing. So I don't know. Is there anybody that you guys have faith in?
If Dylan Brooks didn't play today, I would still probably be pretty aggressive ownership wise on Melton, Desmond Bane. Jaren Jackson continues to pick up ownership, and he's like continually an okay play, right? Nothing that you have to have, but you take. Raj, if I'll say if Brooks didn't play, it sounds like even if he did, it might be a bench thing for now as they kind of build him into the rotation. Raj, what do you do with this game?
Well, he had a broken hand, so like you would
if
imagine he got his cardio. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, Charlotte's a team we've kind of targeted throughout the season, just playing at a really high pace, not that good defensively. And same with Memphis. So, I mean, this is just two kind of fast-paced, bad defensive teams going at it. I think John Moran at 9,900 is a player not a lot of people are going to get to at that price. But I think he can have a huge kind of upside spot here, 35 to 40 real-life points, maybe push the 10 assist mark and really get you a big 60, 65 DKP here in the spot. So I don't mind John Moran here. This is another one I'm not confident in. Steven Adams is 4,800. Centers against Charlotte again. The team want to target there. Not a fun play. If you get there, you get there. Not running to, but just a thought. On Charlotte, I mean, LaMelo Ball's 10K. Another guy in this 10K price tag where he's going to have to be, score essentially close to guys like Giannis, Durant, Luka. Guys we normally, would think would be the highest scorer of the slate. But coming off of a big game against the Lakers, now against Memphis, another great matchup for him. At 10K, again, a price point nobody gets to, and I think he can be an elite play there. Miles Bridges, 8,100. We've seen it. He's gotten to 50 plus many times this year, high 40s, gets his Memphis team. I think it's another spot for him. Still playing a ton of minutes, 43, 37, 37, 38. So he's going to play a ton of minutes here with no PJ Washington. He's going to play some 4 as well. So I think LaMelo and Miles Bridges are in play with John Morant.
Yeah. Looking at live chat, Random says, "Hey guys, y'all think Kobe White coming back impacts Zach at all? Would take a sheep to mess up. Good play, huh? That's me. I think it could maybe lower the scoring responsibility. I think if the immediate impact would be maybe like on Alex Caruso, I think he would still be the 6th man. But that's not today. I'm guessing that's like a season-long question, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to sell high on Levine.
If Kent Bazemore's in, do you take away from LeBron James' usage? No.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Kobe White's a scorer.
He's a bum.
Kobe White is a scorer.
Kobe White's not a bum. Now, Kobe White's a legit NBA scorer.
He's a bum.
Okay, let's go.
Disrespect.
Did he knock out MSU or something? Why do you hate Kobe White?
Not even a college hate. I just don't think he's a good player.
I mean, he's not
maybe
not efficient, but okay.
He's definitely not a good DFS player.
What? I definitely made some noise with Kobe White in my life. To wrap it up, Hornets, I think I like them as a stack on Fanduel. On DK, they're going to be a little bit more harder to get to. The next game on the docket, Sacramento Kings at the San Antonio Spurs. De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, Mo. How could you be so heartless? Taking on and Rashawn Holmes, taking on DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Dougie McBuckets, Keldon Johnson, and Drew Eubanks. 223 is our total. It's a pick 'em. right off the top, DeJounte Murray is the gift that keeps on giving. He's my spirit animal. He keeps giving me 50-plus fantasy points, going against a Kings defense that I don't mind picking on. I think they're pretty average in everything, a little bit above average in pace. Defensive efficiency, I'm not running from. Tyrese Halliburton is something that we need to keep an eye on. He missed last game. That opened up an opportunity for Buddy Hield to be slotted into that starting lineup. I kind of hung over that minute projection. I'll have to adjust that. Chronic, do you got anything on Halliburton being closer to in and out? And then DeJounte Murray is pretty expensive now. Would you say like you could still get there? I think 50 plus is the range of outcome, but he kind of reminds me of Cole Anthony, right? Where people weren't playing DeJounte Murray at that price point, and then he just earned this price point. Is Cole Anthony like the next DeJounte Murray at 1.5, 2K cheaper? Chronic, what do you got on Halliburton?
Says that he's a GTD today, questionable with back tightness / back pain. So no leans yet from the beat writers.
Okay. And the fact that he just missed is a little something. Spurs front court still without Jakob Poeltl.
Not major injury, though. It doesn't look like it's a major injury.
Yeah. And without Jakob Poeltl, we've seen solid minutes for Drew Eubanks and Thaddeus Young. Thad Young still pretty cheap on Fanduel, 4,600. Eubanks under 5K on both sites. Both have shown a propensity to get you 25 plus to 30 fantasy points. I've been just like literally staggering them in my lineups, meaning I've set a rule not to have both of them fall in the same lineup, and that's all. That's not like necessarily needed, but that's just kind of how I'm getting exposure to these two. And I always kind of lean a little bit more to Thad Young as a trusting. Looking at the Kings side here, one of the things that both teams suffer with is rebounds. If we go pull up that team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, which you guys can get access to by winning a free week pass, by hitting the thumbs up, getting to 100 likes, and then winning the giveaway. Just get those thumbs up. That's all you gotta do is hit the thumbs. It's literally free. If we look at defensive rebound rates, the San Antonio Spurs and the Sacramento Kings are both below league average, and Sacramento much lower. 76.5% defensive rebound rate, 20.4% offensive rebound rate. So plenty of potential peripherals to go around, which is good for DeJounte Murray. And then maybe good for Richaun Holmes, 7,200 on FanDuel, 6,900 on DK. I got him hitting 40 plus fantasy points on my early projection for both sites. So he's in the pool for me. Chronic, I'll start with you here. What do you do with this game? I think this could be a somewhat of a game stack environment. A couple of guys I can put in my pool and not feel like I'm making a bad decision. DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Eubanks, Thad Young, and then depending on the Halliburton news, I could get to some Halliburton. But if he didn't play, Fox, he'll become stronger. Harrison Barnes, Richaun Holmes, and maybe some Davion Mitchell, but I'm a little less enthralled by that. Where do you start?
Yeah, definitely start. Okay, so you buried the lead for me a little bit. I said what I was about to say is what I'm about to say is controversial for anybody not named Gundacker, and I was going to tout Richaun Holmes, but I think you just did that pretty effectively. So I think Richaun Holmes is good in a great DVP matchup. I think it's top 3, but he also has he is a top 3 DVP or top 5 DVP matchup as well against the center position. I'm not playing Eubanks. I would play Thad Young. But the only thing I would say about that is opportunity cost here, right? Thad Young on DK is power forward eligible, I believe. Let me check before yeah, he is. So I think that's going to allow me to get more to him than some of the center only guys, right? We're talking about J Val, we're talking about Christian Wood, we're talking about Bam Adebayo. You need that center position is going to be extremely valuable today. So I know you could do it on Fantasy Crutcher, but if you're going to play somebody like that that's power forward and center eligible, I will only, set it so you only slot in at that center position. So definitely interested in Thad Young today. Interested in Richaun Holmes, where he's going to take up a center's position. So I think I'm going to have less of him than normal. If you believe in DVP, Derek White has a shining DVP matchup. I'm not on fire about this game. It's 223 over, so this is the type of game that I want to have guys from, with guys, running up and down the court. So it's more so my steed than I will have more of these later games than the beginning, the first couple games.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Raj, how infatuated are you with the Spurs and the Kings?
Well, my boy Harrison Barnes, I think he's always there, 7,500. Only been giving you kind of consistent mid-30s. It doesn't kill you, doesn't win you anything. Eventually, he's going to have one of these upside games that he does in the mid-40s, 7,500. So I don't hate it. I think Richaun Holmes is interesting here, 6,900 against a team still with no Poeltl. So there shouldn't be anyone on San Antonio who gets in his way. 6,900, you give him 30 minutes in the spot. I think it'd be a 50 bomb for him, so he's definitely intriguing there. San Antonio side, DeJounte Murray at 9.7, close to 10K. Again, we've past 3 games, 51, 52, 40. Could he get you 50 bomb here at 9.7, which he 100% needs? Sure. But again, I think San Antonio is just priced
efficiently. Yeah, I don't disagree
efficiently
with
where I just don't get to it. And back to Sacramento, Buddy Hield 6,300. He has upside. So Sacramento side, they're just these guys with a little more upside here. Halliburton's still questionable. If he sits out again, I think Davion Mitchell is another guy you can go back to. Didn't all the way come through for you last game when he was chalk, but at 4,600, he can get you a 30, 35 spot here. I don't hate it. So Buddy Hield, if Halliburton's out, Mitchell and Harrison Barnes and Holmes. I think all these guys, you don't want to play, 3 of them together, but I think all those guys are in play. If you want to play 1 or 2 in the lineup, I don't think it's crazy.
Pacers at the Nuggets. Project starting 5 for the Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Duarte, I guess Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, Miles, Timmy Turner taking on Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, JaMychal Green. You might see some weird lineup that has PJ Dozier in it. We'll see what Mike Malone throws out there. This is probably the most stackable team on the entire slate. The Nuggets, that is, without Jokic. They are still without Michael Porter Jr. Of course, they've been without Jamal Murray. So you're going to get incredible uses, perhaps somewhat comparable to what the 76ers the last couple of slates. This is a completely new look team, and we usually don't get opportunities like this until like the last week or 2 of the season. Very stackable. I would assume that also comes with high ownership. Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, and then getting, I guess, the right value forward, right? Jeff Green, JaMychal Green. Chronic, this could be fruitful like the 76ers. It could get ugly. It seems like the field would rank Will Barton easily number 1. And I wonder where they land on Aaron Gordon, because it's easy to forget Aaron Gordon's upside as he kind of get lost in the sauce in this Nuggets.
Point God, Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, when you think about the Orlando Magic days, there were times where he could create plays and be a ball handler. And depending on your thoughts on JaMychal Green, Jeff Green, like Nikola Jokic represents so much that you have to replace. In your 20 lineups, how aggressive would you be on Barton and Aaron Gordon, especially if you're a fan of having leverage over the field? Would you think about the lock button?
Raj, you tackle this first.
I mean, Will Barton, 100% lock at 20 lineups. Aaron Gordon, 100% lock at 20 lineups. JaMychal Green, 100% lock in 20 lineups. PJ Dozier, 80% lock in 20 lineups. Those are my big 4 there. I just think those guys.
I didn't expect that.
All day. I think Indiana's a team I'm not scared of. Will Barton's been my dude. Every time I play him, he gets it done. Past 3 games, 47, 36, 45. Really a Spanish role in this team. With no Jokic, I mean, it's kind of his show here. I mean, he should probably lead this team in scoring. Aaron Gordon, we've seen the upside. This could be a triple-double spot for Aaron Gordon.
Stop.
If this is playmaking Aaron Gordon, I'm telling you this could be a triple-double spot for him. I think a double-double is almost guaranteed here with the rebounds and points, and we'll see what he does with the assists. He can always get those stocks, blocks, and steals. 5,200, give me all the Aaron Gordon. JaMychal Green, go play the center spot here. I mean, if you look at their roster against this big Indiana team with Sabonis and Miles Turner, he's kind of the only body, unless you're going to play Bol out there. I mean, I'm not going to do that against this team, so I think JaMychal Green might be forced to play 30, 35 minutes here. So give me all of him. And PJ Dozier, I think this is a guy who can play that Michael Porter Jr. role. He's just going to chuck. Last game shot 2 for 11, only played 21 minutes. With no Jokic here, I could see even more minutes for him. If he plays 30 minutes, he could chuck 15 to 20 shots. And at 4,100, he can get you 35 DKP, which will take all day, every day. So don't get cute. I'm going to lock these guys in. I want to be double, triple the field. I think on a 13-game slate, they might not be, that Andre Drummond ridiculous.
I think Barton for sure is going to pick up so much traction. Do
you think he'll be over 40% owned?
Yeah.
Because if these guys fall in like the 30% range, I'm glad. If they're like 50, that Andre Drummond was these past couple of slates, then it's like okay. But if they fall 30%, Aaron Gordon. I think Aaron Gordon will really be there. So I think people he hasn't flashed a ton of upside this year yet. He's had a lot of mid-tier, kind of middling games. And I think a lot of people might forget the Orlando Aaron Gordon, but I'm going to lock him in at 20. So if I'm triple the field and he comes at 30%, I'll take that. JaMychal Green at 3,200, I could see, definitely getting up there playing. What do you give me JaMychal Green's minutes projection? Because I'm probably giving 32 minutes.
I mean, I put him at 20. I don't know why you think Bobo is so far outside the rotation. I'm not saying he's will. I got him at 20 right now. I think Aaron
You
Gordon
got
plays
Jamal Green at
a lot in
20?
the front court. Like think about Aaron Gordon could just straight up be center. Like it's just there's so many ways Mike Malone can go here. I'll say it no matter what, it's a guess. I'm gonna look at different minute projection sources, kind of see where the vibes are here. But
Yeah.
I'm not that excited.
I think Jeff Green might be a safer bet, right? Because he was
Mhm.
already in the rotation compared to Jermichael. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
That's true. See,
Exactly.
I would say Aaron Gordon at the 5, Jeff Green at the 4, but I think that's too small against Sabonis and Turner. I think they need Michael Green out there.
So
Yeah.
I'll say this: taking a look at some ownership projections that I had this morning, Jermichael Green right now on DraftKings is picking up half ownership, like 50%, the highest owned player on the slate.
Okay. $3,200 guy.
Whereas Barton and Gordon are more closer to 1 and 4, which
All day.
I thought Barton would be the clear cut number 1 option there. So something to think about. I like Barton the most, and we'll go off of that. And I think that's a little soft, but I guess the 13 game slate is gonna be a little bit more diluted in the field just because of how many options there are. Chronic, if I told you Will Barton was 35% owned, giving it 10, a plus 10 versus a projection I see this morning. If I told you Will Barton's 35% owned, do you where are you at on your personal exposure? Do you want to double the leverage? Do you want to just live with it? Like it's hard for me to not see success, right? Like I guess it is a low total, and you really wonder. Like think about how much Jokic does in terms of just creating plays. It's gonna be a different scheme. It's gonna be so much. It's gonna be so different. There's literally they're playing without not only their MVP, the league MVP, but the price point, the minutes here, and the history between where we've seen Will Barton kind of thrive, right? 40, 50 fantasy points is not out of the realm or the realm of possibility. And then for the Pacers to take a step backwards defensively, missing Karis LeVert, who is listed as out. I know if you guys just tuned in, I know he's out. Trust me, I know. I think Will Barton is a core play for me. So if the field's going to be under 35,
Top 10 DVP matchup against the shooting guard position. All the usage he can want and more. He's 6,300 on DK. What is there more to say? I'm not saying that he's going to be the smashes of plays, but does he I think his floor is 30.
right?
Unless he's just bricking. If he's 2 for 18 like Korkmaz, then I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
That could always happen. But
And the other one is like, oh my gosh, how obvious of a value play would like Monte Morris be, right? We never play him, but Jokic is basically point guard here. So Monte Morris, could I get him to 30 fantasy points?
It never gets there, though.
don't forget PJ Dozier.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you guys are arguing about like the greens, right? Why not pick just Taj Gibson? That's all I'm saying.
Stop.
No, I mean we go.
guy.
I thought we go. Okay, wait. You want to take the Taj Gibson? Like I'm telling you, you want Jermichael Green versus Taj Gibson?
That's all I'm saying. No, because Taj Gibson
Put a 20 spot on it.
No, that's a sucker bet. Don't do that.
he relies on too much news.
Yeah. All right. So I was just gonna be a little curious. Let's do a little due diligence. Raj, without repeating literally everything we said, if I told you 35% is the field projection, and again, I know that's higher than the market projection right now, but I also disagree with the market projection. I really feel like 35 to 40% is probably where those guys land in single entry and stuff like that. If I told you the field was at 35% on Barton, what are you doing in your line? Are you still locking and loading?
20 lineups, 100%. 20 lineups is 100%.
Okay. I don't disagree with that. Like I said, I think taking stands in 20 lineups, you're gonna have a strong core. Like if the market's correct, I don't think you need to give up that much equity. Like you can still be pretty bullish at 2x.
70%. Yeah, that's true.
But that's if you agree with the market projection. So something to keep in mind. But man, yeah, it's just hard not to see these Nuggets being so very viable. As they are so short without MPJ, without Jokic, and then still limping without Jamal Murray.
Let's say if we could check usage percentage, but I'm guessing the sample size.
I'm
is so
trying
low.
it. I said it back to the beginning of last year. I took off Jokic, Murray, Michael Porter. I put on Will Barton. Yeah, there's going to be guys like Paul Millsap, guys like that.
Aaron Gordon. Yeah.
Will Barton and Jermichael Green have led the team in usage in this split, and Will Barton's been over a fantasy point per minute. There's a bunch of other guys that kind of shake it up. So there's really not something I would lean on and say as a point of reference, that's what I would expect. But Will Barton's a guy that I just kind of know historically, right? Last 5 years, he does have slate breaking potential. He does have every ability to drop 40 plus fantasy points. All right, now that we're done with the Nuggets chat, what do you guys got on the Nuggets? BP says I've got Barton at 25%. I'm at 30% for Barton. Brogdon, the bonus could be the plays. Yep. I agree with all that. E made it happen. Says things could get weird with Monte. He took 11 shots. Same with Gordon with a Q tag. Morris could be wildly underrun if he pops 4,400. Agree with that. I think Monte Morris, I'm willing to be a little bit more receptive to his success as a ball handler. Barton will end up at 50% when I go back to swap single core plays. I kind of agree with that. JaMychal Green shouldn't be 10 times more owned than Taj Gibson if the other Knicks bigs are out. I'm with Chronic.
But I need y'all to put some money on this man. Yeah, but
I just all things equal. If there's no Noel, if there's no Mitchell Robinson, knowing what we know here with JaMychal Green, even just knowing his strength, like I'm still on the JaMychal Green side. I think it's a sucker bet no matter what, because I don't know like I'm that confident on either. But I know I trust JaMychal Green to be a little bit more productive and more fantasy efficient while he's on the court.
Over Taj Gibson.
Yes. Well, like what is this?
Taj Gibson is? He's the original Montrezl Harrell.
Stop! What are you doing?
How's that?
You're about to get me I'm about to lose subscribers next to you.
Original Montrezl Harrell.
I just feel like Taj Gibson's not even guaranteed to be point per minute. Like
JaMychal
Green is usually gonna. I don't know. I think all things equal.
He's out there when he
I
gets.
can't tell if you're memeing right now. All right, let's talk about that. We don't have that much time left, but I do think it's worth talking about the Pacers here. Catching a shorthanded Nuggets team without LeVert. Obviously, the usage will spike to Malcolm Brogdon, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. Miles Turner's close to 7K on both sides. He's had a really very boom or bust kind of game log where when he's hitting. When he's not, he's crippling your lineup. And Sabonis has also maybe not been the strongest of plays, but Sabonis does get a big price difference between FanDuel and DraftKings, $1,200 on FanDuel, and he's probably a better FanDuel play regardless. And I have him projected for more FanDuel points, so I'm more likely to get to tier 2 plus exposures to Sabonis than I am on DraftKings, and the same with Brogdon. Any distinct difference of opinion when it comes to the Pacers versus what I just said, Chronic, knowing we're trying to get out of here in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Miles Turner, 12 blocks today.
All right, let's speed round the next two games. Blazers at the Suns. Projects 35 for the Blazers. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Yusef Nurkic. Up against Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, JaVale McGee. 224.5 total. 5 points spread in favor of the home team. Phoenix Suns, Blazers, night 2 of a back-to-back. We got a 10+ K Damian Lillard. Same situation for Lillard as we've seen the last 2 weeks. He's so cheap on FanDuel that you just have to get to him for 40+ fantasy points being a realistic outcome. Same situation today. I got him for 44. CJ McCollum also south side of AK on FanDuel. More approachable on DK. You don't feel warm and fuzzy on anyone specifically on the Suns side. If DeAndre Ayton continues to be out, if Dario Saric continues to be out, JaVale McGee opens up as a potential value play, and Frank Kaminsky also would be a potential value play. And both Chris Paul and Devin Booker are in the mix for me, and they're way more approachable on FanDuel. Such is the slate. Chronic, you got anything on DeAndre Ayton's status? You got him out too? That's what I had at launch.
Hey, Aiden's not playing today.
All right. Yeah, the total is actually kind of like interesting to me, at least more from a FanDuel perspective, and my median projections also liked Paul and Booker at their FanDuel price points. And then same with Lillard and McCollum. You give the Phoenix Suns a little bit of an advantage hosting the Blazers on night 2 of a back-to-back. Blazers down to the wire last night. I'm going to go ahead and skip that game, get to the next game. T-Wolves at the Golden State Warriors. Project 35 for the T-Wolves. D-Russ, Patrick Beverly, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Carl Anthony Towns, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd taking on Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevin Looney. 2-2-2, and another 1-2 is our total. 7-point spread in favor of the home team, Golden State Warriors. So the Warriors have been so good. Offensively, one of the best offensive ratings in basketball. Defensively, the best defensive rating in basketball. Their pace is up there. So you got to ask yourself, what do you believe with the Warriors defense? Have the strength of schedule been favorable enough to maybe overinflate their numbers? Like, we agree that they're a good defense. Are they the best defense? You could make a case that, hey, they've had some really, really soft matchups, no knock on that. And then the T-Wolves, their offensive efficiency has been dog water, inefficient shooting, and some injuries rotating throughout the starting lineup. I don't know that they've had like the same starting lineup in more than like a 2-3 game stretch. So something to wrestle with. Patrick Beverly against his old roommate Steph Curry. That's always fun to watch. And then D. Russ, Anthony Edwards, Cat always plays here. The only question I really want you guys to answer without like getting too deep is, one, do you think it stays close enough to go chase those Steph Curry points? And much like several other guys that we've addressed, the Fanduel price much softer than the DK price on Steph Curry, where I got him at 60 fantasy points on Fanduel, 56 on DK. Just like Giannis Antetokounmpo, if you get the Steph, you probably need him to be the best raw point scorer on the slate, and that's not all you need. Him in the 2v2 to 3v3. So priorities from this game, Raj. Anyone in this game hitting your 20 lineups quick as possible?
I think DeAndre Russell at 7,100 is kind of in that Zach LaVine spot. Obviously not as consistent, but against the team against Golden State, who I don't think the defense is real. I think they've just had an easy schedule, and they'll be kind of exposed. They'll be more middle tier. 7,100, he has that 40, 50-point upside. So I think he'll probably make a 20-liner spot here. Anthony Edwards at 8K, I think he's fine. So he's going to chuck. He's chucking 20-plus shots every single game. Could get you 40-plus, 50-plus at 8K. He'll take that all day, every day. Cat with those guys in, I think, kind of limits the upside. I like it when one of those guys are out to play Cat. But against Golden State, this could be the highest scoring game on the slate. Don't hate to play, but probably don't get to him in 20. Only 100, 150 line of play. Steph Curry on DK is just so expensive. Coming off of 50 real-life points. Obviously not going to do that again. At this price, he probably needs 40 real-life points.
You didn't understand the assignment, bro. We got to wrap it up. You're basically just repeating what I just said. Gotcha. Are you high on
Edwards? Play Anthony Edwards.
Play Anthony. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
All right.
And play Devin Booker in the last game, man. No reason not to. He's going to go off.
All right, we only got one game left in the docket. Chat, can we get these likes to 100 plus? We're at, 80? 20 likes. We need 20 likes to give away a week pass at rundfs.com. All you got to do is hit that thumbs up. If we don't get to 100, we don't do the giveaway. And the giveaway is for a week pass at rundfs.com. If you guys want access to my projections, my player pool, the DVP tabs that we've been referencing throughout the duration of the stream, but most importantly, access to the premium Discord, get into those rundfs.com pre-locked voice chats. Today should be pretty doggone busy. You can download the Discord app on your mobile device, your desktop, all that good stuff, and then sit right here in the NBA chat. We're usually in this sucker well throughout the night after sundown, sweating prop picks, sweating late swap, stuff like that. If you want to add that to your daily process, I definitely highly recommend it. And if you guys get these likes, we need 15 more likes. I'll give away a free week pass. All you would have to do is DM me on Twitter, your email, and we'll get you set up. Main event tonight. Also, shout out to PrizePicks. Go check them out. Use code Gundecker. Check out the thing in the chat, right? Miami Heat at the Los Angeles Lakers. Main event tonight. Project starting 5 for Heat. Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G Buckets, PJ Tucker, Bam Adebayo. Taking on Russell Westbrook, Avery Bradley, Kent Bazemore, Anthony Davis, and DeAndre Jordan. We got 215 total, 4.5 point spread. Chronic this morning. I had a pretty long laundry list of Heat statuses. They started tightening it up as I got closer to launching here, but if you could run through what we might expect the Heat to actually look like. I know we saw Bam Adebayo is on track to play. Is there any surprises that you're kind of bracing for, or should this be projected as such as a full go? And then bleed that into what you like and what you don't like from this game in your DK20 lineups.
I think the only person that we should expect to be out, or should be actually questionable, is PJ Tucker. He has a shoulder stinger. He's the only one who's questionable who plays significant minutes here. Really quick, just the DFS analysis. You have one of the worst defenses versus one of the best defenses. This game should not be a 5-point spread. It's going to be a blowout. With that being said, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, you play those. I'm not playing any Lakers. And if you are a sports bettor, play whatever the over is on Westbrook's turnovers.
Yeah, I think John said it was still 4.5, and yeah, going against a tougher defense. I will say I've been hyping up the Heat defense the last two games, and the Celtics smoke them, and then the Nuggets kind of smoke them, so I'm kind of worried about that. But I guess it's not always a knock on their defense. Their offense could have took a hit as well. Raj, what are you doing here?
Like you said, it's a tough matchup for the Lakers, but the Lakers have been a number one spot against point guards, so I think Kyle Lowry at probably less than 5% ownership could be a 50 spot here, 7,700. Not the best price tag, but they give it up to everyone. LaMelo dropped 70 on them. Point guard before that, we're all dropping 40, 50s. Because I think they're all in play. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. Our boy Sheldon Trotz says, how will a Denver stack work tonight. Lots of injuries. Anyone, please. Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, JaMychal Green look like the 3 highest owned by the field. You could probably
PJ Dozier.
that's a little bit more flimsy. Like, I understand the play. Guys like him, Monte Morris, Facundo Campazzo, all those guys are a little bit more flimsy than the front 3. Those are the guys that are going to be highest owned by the field. You think they all get good points? Good points. I think Will Barton and Aaron Gordon are the 2 that I would lean on. And then the reason we get to JaMychal Green is just because he's inefficiently priced for the Jokic suspension. So, chat, only a couple minutes here to get to 13 likes. You get to 13 likes, we'll do a giveaway. If not, we'll try it again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. With that said, knowing what we know now, remember to keep your guys' heads on swivels and know that there's a 13-game slate. There's going to be a lot of news before lock, and there's probably going to be some post-lock news. We will be watching the Brandon Ingram news, and there's some of these other game statuses that are a little bit more gray area, the Brandon Dylan Brooks, new stuff like that. So if you guys want to track that in live time, man, the RunDFS.com VIP Discord is a great way to do it. Or make sure you're on Twitter. Follow _NBA. Lots of good sources out there. In about 7 minutes, I recommend you guys go check out the Osmo NBA stream. If you guys want to hang out with me, I'll be in the Discord up until lock. And you guys can get into that Discord with a subscription at rundfs.com. Chat, I'm going to give y'all 5 minutes to fire away some questions, comments, concerns. I don't think we're going to get the 100 like goal, man. We had like 170 viewers. The likes is not there right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I try.
Hot takes. That's the hot take.
I did say 18 new subs yesterday. We started this stream at 5519. We are at 5521. So only 2. You guys are only worth 2 new subs. Woo!
Hey, Ray, what's I blame racism? Is it racism, guys? There's 2 color guys. Come on, y'all hating.
No, we're good. Yeah, I've never tried to do that before. Izzo says, yo, Chronic, 1 GPP Fanduel line. Who's your locks? I don't think Chronic plays Fanduel, right?
Oh, but I'll play with Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine. I do like Zach LaVine.
LaVine and Booker, they're going to be under 10% owned.
So you do like Phoenix for some little leverage on the field?
Oh, bro. The Devin Booker's going to go off. Worst DVP matchup against shooting guards. I was mad you sped through past that game because I really like it a lot. I think Booker goes for 30 real points today.
Okay.
50 ball.
All right. I don't hate it. Chris Paul as well. And then Frank Kaminsky. So the other night I was so aggressively on Kaminsky. Like I had 90%. The field was at like 50, 60%. And he was so underwhelming. And this is what I meant earlier when we talked about like the Ricky Rubio ownership, right? Like if these guys only hit a respectable number, like hit value per se, like you're not necessarily dead without him. And Kaminsky might be a guy that hits a price point that I'm a little scared of. Now he got into extreme foul trouble that game, 5 fouls in 22 minutes, but he still has 30 fantasy point upside. So I guess remember that he does exist today. But yeah, that was a quick reminder of how, not all chalk is great chalk, and then also you don't need to go aggressively overweight and feel like you have to have leverage on somebody unless you really think they can't miss. Guys like Andre Drummond, guys like that. Yeah, I know. Likes are at 94. F it. We'll do it one time for the one time. Because I think this stream will get to 100 plus once some of the guys that are a little further back get caught up. So let's put that on the main screen here. Let's do the giveaway. Chat, if you guys are out there watching and you guys want to win yourself a week pass at rundfs.com. Like I said, we did a couple giveaways in the last week, and I've already got some of those guys that only got it for free, and now they want to stick with it, man. They thought that they, the value was there, and the recidivism, right? The guys that keep on getting it, man, it's strong. We don't often get people get VIP and then not come back, so it lets me know we're doing something right. So if you guys want a shot at it for free, let's follow the prompt here, ! Raffle in the chat. Now you got 5 minutes to fire away some questions while we do that. I didn't get any hot take that I could lean on in terms of betting Raj here, but maybe something develops later in the day,
They scared, chat. He's scared. It's all good.
I mean, you gotta give me somebody better than.
Well, what do you want, an edge? I'm not like.
I don't want to bet nobody. Like, I don't want to spend my night sweating Taj Gibson versus JaMychal Green, right? Give me.
I think J-Bow, you say Christian Wood.
That's still that's
That's your homie. I'm gonna roll with
but
mine.
that's still Ingram versus KPJ, right? Like it has a chance to not be fair.
Sure.
So
I mean, both get ruled in. I'm still like Ingram gets ruled in and KPJ gets ruled out. I think I'm still going Jonas.
Yeah, and I would be on Christian Wood no matter what. So I don't know. I like them both. So I don't want to bet against people.
I hear you.
I want to, I'll get you in the corner on dumb stuff to take your money. What's up, Leighton? I appreciate that subscription, Leighton. Actually, I think you subscribed to Run DFS, so I hope you do enjoy it. If you guys got any questions about Run DFS VIP, once you get in, basically once you do subscribe, not only do you get that fantasy cruncher credit, but go to VIP portal. There'll be some links to the spreadsheets, and more importantly, link to the RunDFS.com Discord and link to the logo. Man, you want to rep Run DFS? There's a graphic there. You could throw that flag up on your Fanduel and DraftKings avatars, right? Let's get caught up. Sheldon says, I try using all 6K players, but it doesn't work. Nah, Sheldon, usually you're going to need some of that beef, some of that 50, 60 fantasy point potential in your lineup. It's a good starting point to think, okay, I need 5, 6X value for whatever, but that's like fundamental. Like that's how you start your perception. It gets more complex. Usually you're going to need less of an ROI from your big boys. If you get 60 plus from 11K, that dog usually is going to hunt. And then from your value plays, 5, 6X from a 3K guy, that's 15, 18, 19 fantasy points, usually going to be largely irrelevant to get to the top of a tournament. So I like to say you need closer to 10X from your low price guys, and you can settle on 5 on your big price guys. So something to think about when you're making your lineups. Izzo, yo, Gun, if I win the raffle, can I get a tank top from Raj instead of the pass? Hey, yo.
Okay.
Hey, yo.
Hey. Tank top. Okay, I see you.
Izzo bag of donuts over here with the one another man's tank top. Is it worn or just, I don't know.
I just want some little tank top hook. I think I got you, man. Join the Run DFS chat. Get in our Discord. We'll talk something out.
Danny says, if y'all get a sub to Run DFS, that means I get food. Y'all trying to starve my girlfriend? Y'all trying to do that? What's up, Juan? Thoughts on Slow-Mo Anderson? So Kyle Anderson, the reason I got to Kyle Anderson last slate was Jair Williams was out, and he represented like 10 to 15 minutes. So I just kind of put those minutes more so to Kyle Anderson. Today, if Williams was in and Dylan Brooks was in, I do feel like the minute projection for Kyle Anderson becomes way more flimsy, way softer. So I wouldn't be that excited on him unless those guys were out. Now, if those guys get ruled out, I love the matchup against the Charlotte Hornets for sure. The Pacers versus Denver will probably be low scoring, thus my Denver stack would be crap. It'll be pretty high owned though. Izzo said it better smell like Canada, the tank top, man. He want that.
It's gonna smell like maple syrup.
I can't with you. This is so dumb. Bold call, Chronic, you got one or nah?
Taj Gibson outscores all the value guys.
Put some money on it, Chronic. Let me see some cheddar on it.
I said it.
Let me see some of that oil money on it.
Man, look, the guys got to be out. So my bold call, Devin Booker, top 5 fantasy score on the slate.
Okay, all right, top 5, no debating. What do you got?
Like it.
What do you got, Rod? You got something?
I got J-Val will be the highest scoring center of the slate.
Okay, I can get with that. I forgot if I play the outro. You guys, like, the Discord thinks I'm trying to illegally stream music. So, what about Duncan Robinson, 3,900 on FanDuel? That is kind of cheap. Shooter's going to shoot. This is the Lakers, soft defense. If you think you can hit, get a little hot, 4 or 5. I would say, like, the guy that has some redemption to be doing is Kyle Lowry, right? Kind of a non-story because Jokic versus Markieff Morris happened. But Kyle Lowry, at least more on FanDuel, he's been more appropriate price. My man played 37 minutes, did the Tony Snell game, bro. 0 points. Got his cardio after a 20 real point triple-double. What an incredible follow-up to that. But that potential is still there. And Chronic, who gives up more fantasy points than the Lakers?
Nobody.
So, yeah, think about that. And he's only 6,600 on FanDuel. So, something to think about. Jared Allen, Miles Turner. That's a good one. I love Allen's minutes, but Miles Turner, I probably lean Allen for floor, and I would say I probably lean Jared Allen, but I don't hate Miles Turner, right? Mundo's World, would you stack the Bucks, Holiday, Allen, Portis?
No.
I like in 150 lineups. If I had some that was Drew Holiday, Allen Portis, like I think they could all achieve value at their price point, and maybe that's your pivot to Giannis Antetokounmpo having a down game. Sure, I don't think it's a bad. It's not something. It wouldn't be a priority, but I'm not against it. So Chronic said no, but Chronic, I think you agree. Like individually, those players aren't bad, but it's not a. I'm not starting my.
There's too much money to be tying up on the slate where you got some OUs that's almost 20 points higher.
Yeah. All right, boys. I'll catch y'all in a couple minutes in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat. It's been real chat. I'll say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later.
Peace.
Let's do the drawing here, and chat. I will remind you we'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, chopping up the Thursday slate. And hopefully recapping some big dubs here. So we've got 20 of you guys entered into this raffle. I appreciate you guys hitting that thumbs. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. 6K is the goal. I appreciate you making part of my day be part of your day. We're gonna draw the winner. If you win, I need you to type your Twitter handle in this chat so that the bot picks it up, and then DM me on Twitter with an email, and I will get you guys set up. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money. Randy Stockstill with the week pass, man. Crush it tonight, boys and girls. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.
Thank you.